are here. They're gonna tear it up, rip it down, and shoot it straight. Fagan and Biegel in the morning on Hot Talk, KOAN. And now, Fagan and Biegel.
All right, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the broadcast, the Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, and Bonnie Cameron show. And Bonnie has informed us this morning that she is very popular. People like her.
Did that sound assuming? I mean, was I bragging?
No, it sounded more pompous. It was more in that,
Well,
sort of that vein.
I just said that everybody I meet. That doesn't mean that everybody likes me.
Well, we're talking about.
Oh, they know you. They don't necessarily like you. Okay.
We're talking about the show. What we thought the show should be all about. And Bonnie said we should have a mission statement. And I said our mission statement should be, "Don't suck." And then I said, well, people just have to listen and like us. They want to be a part of this. And and then she said something like, well, people like me. People like me a lot.
Yeah, you guys need to step it up.
Yeah. Our brand is we suck less.
Come to the table here with me.
I'd like to say we don't suck. I don't want to suck less. That's because that means that implies you do suck some.
Yeah, but if it's less than everything else, then
I'd rather not suck.
okay. All right.
I've never heard suck said so much in 1 minute.
Oh, well,
yeah, actually, my brother hit me when I was 13.
Let me tell you something.
He excused me when I said that.
There's a word. The last three letters are UCK.
Yes.
That I've heard about 75 times this morning.
Duck? Is it
I'll
duck?
bet.
It's not duck.
I edited.
Is it truck?
I edited down the audio from the Palin brawl that was released.
Rumblegate.
And I'm telling you, man, there's some people with some potty mouths in this clip. And I was telling Glenn, I don't know what to do. This is seriously. I'm asking you guys this morning, what should we do? And I asked Brian, and he says I should play it, although I sense he thinks I probably shouldn't. He's just being nice. That's my guess.
I think Brian likes to get it.
You think?
Yeah, let's get it riled up in here.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I just think I don't know, I listened to it and watched it.
Were you bored listening to it? The version that I edited together.
Well, no, I mean, I'd read the transcripts anyway, so they were basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And hearing the emotion in her voice, it sounded like they were attacked. The girls. It doesn't sound like they went out there, hey, we're the Palins that started a brawl.
Yeah.
And who knows how long they were, the way it was sounded before was they all just rolled up and got out and things started. But it sounded like they'd been there a while.
So you believed them?
3 hours.
I believed them before.
Wow, because the way I interpreted the scenario is that Bristol and Track and Willow had one version of events, and everybody else had a different version of events. And you're going to go with the Palin's version.
Well, I'm going with just Bristol's. That's really the only one I listened to.
Okay.
Well, I heard a little bit of the others, but...
Oh, you didn't listen to... Yeah, because the others are very convincing if you listen to them.
Yeah, I thought that some of them sounded like they were lying.
Yeah.
I wonder if she remembers anything from that night.
Probably not.
My internet's not working either all of a sudden. Is your internet working, Bonnie?
I don't have mine on.
Is yours plugged in directly, Brian?
Nope.
And you're getting it through the wireless?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am not.
Huh,
I have nothing. So
You
I'm with you, Glenn.
Okay. Fine.
You can always go to the AK integrated, but it's slow.
That's where I'm going. I'm there now.
Okay.
Or try the... we'll get it fixed up.
Some of us just sit here quietly.
I liked her dress, That was the cool thing about the pictures.
Oh, I didn't see the pictures.
Her
She had
camo
like a camo
dress?
dress. That
Yeah.
was...
I believe there was some mention of a thong in the midst of that dress.
My thong
I
dress.
ignored
There
that
was
part.
something about a thong dress.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
Well,
No. You're
think
not getting
they-
away with
No,
it.
I don't.
No,
No,
we're gonna-
seriously, you're
we're
not.
gonna play.
Honestly.
What she meant is they dragged her on the ground, and she
Right.
was wearing a thong and a dress, so that's what would show being dragged on the ground as a girl, right?
They were dragging her like upside down.
I don't know.
Well, they were
Said they were dragging her by the feet.
According to the non-Palin version of events,
Yes.
somebody messed with Willow.
Yeah.
Bristol got really upset. She went over there to go fight the woman some old woman.
The old woman,
Yeah,
right.
Willow said, an old woman pushed me. So
Is this normal, by the way, for girls to want to go?
So Bristol, who the police characterize as heavily intoxicated, marched across the grounds and went for this old woman to go kick her ass. That was the report.
Nice.
Because she was going to defend her sister.
Right. Now, the owner of the house stopped her and said, this is not going to happen at my house. And she's all belligerent. And then, according to the owner of the house, you know, and other witnesses, that he said, well, look, you can hit me, but you're not going to. So she starts swinging at him. Initially, the Palins kind of deny that. Say, well, there was no punches. But then later, they actually confirm it by contradicting themselves, saying, well, they didn't connect with his face. So they really were kind of caught in a lie at one point in the tape, if you listen to it closely enough. And, you know, the people that I was interested in hearing was, you know, the police were talking to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They stopped probably 30 people. And every time they'd mention the owner of the house's name and they'd ask them and said, well, apparently he was causing a fight. They go, no, he wouldn't do that. That wasn't, I don't believe
Corey
that happened.
Klingmeyer. That's
Klingmeyer, right. He's not a kind of guy who would do that kind of stuff. So anyway, so that's the gist of the thing.
Well, generally, you don't invite the Palins over and then fight them. I would think that would probably get you in a little bit of hot water.
Well, you know, they're all you know, alcohol doesn't always mix. You know, I had one situation once where I was down on 4th Avenue. This was back when I was on Channel 2.
Do tell.
And an Alaska Native guy who was really drunk came up to me and said, Dan Fagan, I can't bleep, bleep, bleep. I hate you. I hate you. Bleep, bleep, bleep. This was before I was a conservative talk show.
Wow.
Yeah, and he actually took a couple swings at me.
Whoa.
But he was so drunk, I just, you know,
Yeah.
backed up a little, and he missed. But he really wanted to fight me just because I was a so-called celebrity. So I'm sure that the Palins have some of that with them. You get a bunch of drunk people in a party, and they see Track Palin, and, you know. So there is an element of that.
Well, there was so much drinking. I mean,
Yeah.
on both sides.
Well, the F-bombs, not only just the Palin girls, but everybody who's interviewed, they couldn't not use the F word every fourth sentence. Is this how people talk?
To the police?
No, the police. I'll tell you what. I am voting no on AO-37 now.
Oh, you are?
As a result of the police and what they had to go through, listening to the shrill voices of the Palin girls.
You're joking.
No,
by
I'm
the way.
not. I'm now voting no on AO-37. I thought these cops, these people need to make $250,000 a year.
Well, but they're in Wasilla, so.
No, this was in Anchorage.
They need hazard
that's
pay.
Right. What am I
They
thinking?
do.
Yeah, they need hazard pay in order, because the women, when they can't.
No.
Come on, Bonnie, they can't have shrill voices.
So here's the thought. Do we play it? I think we should. It's, you know, obviously on the Daily News, they get like more comments than I'll ever get on any story all week. People care about it. She's a major figure here. She's our royalty. Anything come of it? You know, my original thought was, well, if there's 1% of the people who are going to vote for Bill Walker because of Sarah Palin's endorsement, maybe this will help them change their mind. No, that's not really.
No.
So there's no good that's going to come of this. I'll acknowledge that. But
I just think it's fun to listen to.
It's so compelling. It's so compelling. So we're going to play.
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't heard it yet,
It's
so
coming
I'm
up
excited.
next. It's coming up next. The Palin Brawl.
Rumblegate.
Caught on tape. Next. It's coming up next. The Palin Brawl.
Rumblegate.
Caught on tape.
Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
Is your IT department burdened with first-line support calls about printer jams and broken printers? Are individual departments purchasing expensive printer cartridges that get buried in office supply budgets? Is your printer support strategy really a printer replacement plan? Let Alaska Enterprise Solutions show you how to reduce those high print costs. AES is a Xerox professional agency in Alaska with Xerox's worldwide support behind them. You can reach us at aesalaska.com or 561-5100.
If it works for you.
Yeah, of course it is. That's what
Yeah.
Well,
These negative ads are everywhere.
Yeah, I stopped listening and did my own research.
Yeah, what did
Alaska Integrated or the 5G?
I got
Well, I know he served in the Marines for 20 years, and he'll fight against President Obama and Democrats in Washington to protect my Second Amendment rights.
And did you know when he was our Attorney General, he worked to put an end to violence against women, defended the constitutionality of Alaska's Parental Notification Initiative Act, and sued the federal government to stop Obamacare?
I like that. What else you got?
Well, as a veteran himself, he's dedicated to fixing the problems plaguing Obama's VA. And he'll fight to ensure they get all the benefits they've earned.
Dan Sullivan. I'm sold.
Me too.
Dan Sullivan, a principled leader for Alaska. Dan Sullivan for U.S. Senate. Paid for by Allen West Guardian Fund, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. AllenWestGuardianFund.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
There's a lot of so-called experts out there claiming to have the key to success in business for a price. Are you ready for real business advice you can trust without a fee? Then don't miss Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Advice from people in the know. Technology, finance, taxes, and more. Business people helping business people take their skills and services to the next level. Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. on Hot Talk, KOAN, 95.1 FM and 1080 a.m. You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080 The Talk of the Valley, KVNT.
All right, welcome back. 6:17. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie on a Wednesday, Tuesday. What is today?
Wednesday.
Less
than 2 weeks before the election.
22nd. How about that? Unbelievable. Our number 569-1080. 569-1080. And we'd love to hear from you this morning. We're going to play this clip. I had to edit it down, obviously. And when I edit things, I don't ever edit them to change the meaning. It's a 23-minute clip. We can't play 23 minutes. But I did take out a lot of dead spaces, and I did take out a lot of people that we don't know. But basically what you're going to hear in this clip, it starts with Willow being interviewed by the police officer. And she talks about how she was pushed and that kind of stuff. And then they're trying to and then you hear Sarah there. Sarah's very involved, and she'll tell Willow to stop cussing, and, it's
So who called the police again?
Oh, let's not get into all that. I mean, it was who knows? I mean,
we don't know.
It said it was a neighbor down the street.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Why? What's the revel?
Well, I'm trying to figure out just the time frame here, because normally, by the time the fight has gone on for a little while, people kind of disperse. The police don't, for the most part, they don't get to show up while everybody's still there, and so that's why I was just trying to figure that out.
What I loved was all the people that said that they had video or whatever and they weren't going to share it.
Well, there's actually one clip that I did not put in this clip with the McKenna brothers. One of the McKenna brothers, he had told the cop there was a video.
Yes.
And the cop says, "Well, can we see it?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't have to show it to you. These are my friends. No one will ever see that video." And then the cop, and the cop says, "Do I have to give it to you because you're a cop?" And the cop says, "No." And it says, "Yeah, I know my rights."
I know my rights.
So there is a video of this, but it's one of the McKenna brothers who's real good buddies with the Palin. So,
all right.
So we'll never see it, I suppose, because they're probably faithful or loyal friends. But so anyway, so it starts out because it's confusing because everybody's screaming and yelling and everybody wants to, and there's talking in the background, and so first you hear Willow, who's 20 years old. This the way it goes is a track Bristol Willow age-wise. And then you hear they finally get Bristol over there. You hear Sarah calling her over, and then she's very emotional, and she talks about how that she explains what happened to her. And then after that, I suppose it just kind of goes on. Well, you guys don't know what it is. It's about 4 minutes long. This is out of 20 minutes, so keep in mind it's nothing in the meaning of anything anyone says changes. I don't remember you're going to hear a lot of bunt, 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 bunt. There were 7 different curse words used, by the way.
Oh, that's the new bleeping song.
Yeah,
bleeping song.
That'll be the bleeping sound. So every time, there's nothing wrong with your radio.
And so it's like a game show where you lose if you bleep. If you say
sort of like
word.
that. You're just going to hear a lot of bunt, bunt, bunt. Nothing wrong with your radio at home. It's just that I can't have people using the F-bomb
It sounded like part of their statement.
Even the curse word that begins with a C, which is the most vile curse word there is, was used several times. So it's pretty intense. Woo. These I will say this. I'm not gonna comment on any of this, but I will say this. Bristol and Willow are not going to win any non-profanity contests. We used to play I don't know.
Miscongeniality is not part of. No,
it's just you're going to hear. You're going to hear. I will also say it's much more powerful when you actually hear them say the words.
Yeah.
Than the but. But here it is. Here's the audio, condensed version. Excuse me, of the Palin brawl.
Can I talk to Bristol?
Yeah. Bristol, the cop wants to talk to you. Come on. What?
Him. Okay, sorry.
Seriously, this Corey with the red shirt. I don't know anybody there. Bristol down on the
Bristol,
ground.
you injured?
Don't pass Willow. Was he the guy with the camo hat? He was with the red shirt.
All I remember is the red shirt. I don't remember anything else. Going after the girls.
Pushing girls to the ground. That's what I'm not.
Bristol, do you need medics?
Bristol, going kind of funny, lady. No, she just is mentally hurt. She's not physically. She's mentally.
Go ahead.
Bristol, listen. When this 30-year-old mom, watch out. When this 30-year-old guy's pushing her to the ground and calling her a slut, you fucking slut. Seriously, this guy's crazy. What is he be doing pushing girls around though?
He's a drunk.
I know.
Hold on. I've had all with him in the past.
Didn't he beat up his girlfriend or his wife?
That part I can't speak of, but I know that I watched him get in a fight with my friend before.
Honestly, Bristol walked up to him. Why would you push my little sister?
So for no reason he pushed Bristol.
No, he pushed
you.
The old woman pushed me for no reason.
So then Bristol stepped in to protect you.
Why would you push my little sister? And then he comes back with, "You can slut, get out of here. You can slut."
Hold on.
I know.
I talked to them. They were all inside.
No, that was one of the guys.
This is what we don't understand. Is why do those guys get to go?
That was one of the guys.
I'm talking to every car that comes by.
You know what? He's one of the guys who jumped my son.
I'm trying to make my way up to Corey's. I'm trying to get my way up to Corey's.
I don't understand why a girl can get jumped for no reason. Why would you let that guy go away?
I got their info. I got them already.
But really, come on now.
There's 30 people.
Okay, but one of them, anyone in the whole birthday party, that's one of them, and you let him go.
I'm trying to make my way up to Corey.
Okay, but you're trying to make him away when he leaves. So how are you trying when he leaves? Why am I still here? Where I have my little 5-year-old in the corner? She got beat to the ground. Seriously, she got beat to the ground, and you're just gonna let him go away. I don't understand how this works either. Honestly, Bristol, I don't know. When we see how it works, it's confusing. Guys pushing me to the ground, calling me. I know, but I have a 5-year-old in the car, so if you're going to question me, let's question me. Honestly, why did you let
me? Do you want to talk to me now? I tried to talk to you. Come talk to me away from your family. Come talk to me right here.
What do you want to talk about?
Tell me what happened.
Some guy pushed me down on the ground and was dragging me by my feet. I'm going to talk.
I said one at a time.
Okay, but listen,
Willow,
she came up.
You can go stand right there. I'll come talk to you. Let me talk to Bristol. Let me get Bristol's side.
Came up too.
Bristol, tell me what happened.
My little sister comes up to me and said, "Some old lady just pushed me. She just hit me."
Okay.
Oh, hell no. No one's going to touch my sister.
Where was this at?
So we were in the limo. I walk back up. "Did you push my sister?" And some guy gets in my face, pushes me down on the grass, drives me across the grass. "You slut, you this fucking gay." I get back up. He pushes me down on the grass again and pulls me by my feet. And he's the one that's leaving, and I have my 5-year-old. They took my $300 sunglasses. They took my fucking shoes, and I'm just left here.
Okay. Where are you injured at?
My knees, my face. Where's my... I have a 5-year-old in the car.
Where was the limo at when your sister
right
came
here.
and got you? So your sister came down and got you from the limo that was parked right here.
Yeah.
You went back up to the house.
I was closer to the house, yeah.
Okay. And when you got up there, you approached the 60-year-old.
I don't know how old she was.
Okay.
Some lady with gray hair.
Okay.
Who wants to push my 20-year-old sister.
Okay.
I'm gonna defend my sister.
And then
She's
a guy
20
came
years
out of
old.
nowhere and pushed
a guy comes out of nowhere and pushes me on the ground, takes me by my feet in my dress, in my thong dress, in front of everybody. Come on, get the fuck out of here. Come on, you slut, get the fuck out of here. I don't know this guy. I've never seen this guy in my life.
Okay.
I swear to God on my Down syndrome brother's life.
So there you go, Glenn.
Oh, I hadn't heard that part.
About what?
Oh my goodness.
What?
I swear on my downs. What did he?
On my
what
brother's, my
Down
Down syndrome's brother's life.
Yes. Oh my word. I didn't hear that part. Sorry, that astonished me right there.
So, to me, it does seem like a very different sequence of events than what they reported in the paper already.
Well, no, the guy and all the witnesses who said the guy who was punched 5 times, he admits after the 5th time he pushed Bristol down. So the only thing
But he didn't come out of nowhere.
No,
right?
no, she went to him.
And they say that this 60-year-old hit Willow,
a woman,
to start with.
They pushed her.
Yeah.
And I have no idea. But everything matches except for, and they do say, the guy says, who was hit in the face 5 times, that they pulled Willow away from him, and they had to drag her away because she was punching at him.
So it wasn't even Corey that was dragging her away.
No.
It was somebody else.
Corey pushed her down. He admitted that after she I mean, you hit somebody in the face 5 times, you got to defend yourself, right? So he eventually said he felt his face begin to swell.
Right.
So he just pushed her down.
Mm-hmm.
And then
someone else comes up
and pulls him. They're pulling him, or what?
And is calling her names. Why would somebody else be calling her names? It's just so strange to me.
Yeah, I don't know. But the account of the other people is that someone pulled her away. Actually, it was one of the McKenna brothers who pulled her away
and was calling her names.
No, that's her version now.
Okay.
But according to one of the McKenna brothers, that he had to pull her away from the guy she was punching in the face because she was just so wild about it. She couldn't be contained. So his only recourse was to literally pull her away. Now, she probably had a dress on, and it probably wasn't what she wanted. But when you just start going crazy and start swinging,
yeah, no, I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah,
but to me, it seems like there's lots of charges that could be filed here at some point.
They took pictures of her hands, and there was no marks on them. I would
Bristol?
think that they would be.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, Brian, you believe the Palins here. You believe that they were victims, not culpable in any manner.
Yeah, it sounds like from even what one of the McKenna brothers said, that they showed up and I guess a couple of their employees didn't get along with them.
Right, they were drinking. The employees were drinking.
Yeah, I think there was a bunch of Palin haters out there, for lack of another word, and that's how it escalated. They started jabbing at him.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what it sounded like to me.
Glenn, what's your thought?
I don't know what to make of it. This is wild stuff. I don't think people's children should be drinking. I don't think people should drink this much. Certainly, this kind of language in front of a police officer is very, very odd. I mean, there's just any number of things going on here which are totally outside of my experience. And if any of my children ever did any of this kind of stuff, I just can't imagine how disappointed I would be. I would be absolutely devastated by the whole process. And for me, it's unbelievable that it even gets like this. But I guess this is what happens when people drink a lot.
There were some comments in the ADN that Child Protective Services should have been called. I think that was a little strong.
That is over the top.
Yeah, because of the 5-year-old.
Yeah, well, at that point, they didn't know who had done what. And hopefully there was a limo there, so that it's not like they're driving the 5-year-old home.
Sure. Yep. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie, KOAN, KVNT, time 6:29. And Bonnie, KOAN, KVNT, time 6:29.
Fagan and Biegel, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m. on the Talk of the Valley, KVNT. Online at 1020kvnt.com.
This is Charles White with your Matsu Report. The Anchorage School District has banned United States military recruiters, and Kenda has that report.
The decision to ban military recruiters from campuses was reportedly made following accusations of some inappropriate behavior by Alaska Army National Guard recruiters, such as allegedly offering the young people alcohol and inviting them to parties, and in one case a married recruiter making a sexual comment about a female high school student. School officials called the reports absolutely unacceptable.
The Matanuska Electric Association's pinning the blame for Monday's power outage from Willow to Talkeetna on one beaver and two ravens. They say first, a beaver chewed up a tree which fell into a power line, and then two ravens tangled up in a substation in Wasilla. Power was temporarily lost to about 3,700 customers. When you see news happening, email news@1020kvnt.com.
Plenty of sunshine today, high 38. Clear skies tonight, low 20. A mix of sun and clouds tomorrow, high 34. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 22. Friday, intervals of clouds to sunshine, high 34. Plenty of sunshine Saturday, high 35. Sunday, mostly sunny, high Sunday, 33. If the Valley's talking, you'll hear it here. KVNT, Valley News Talk 92.5 FM and 1020 AM.
Make your next corporate or social event spectacular with Logistics LLC. Team Logistics is passionate about their work and welcomes the opportunity to provide you in-depth expertise in creating and transforming your vision into reality. Make Logistics LLC your first call when needing assistance with planning your next event. From gala dinners, holiday parties, company picnics, team building, fundraisers, weddings, and more. Logistics LLC will design, plan, and create an event that provides impact and inspiration that will work within your budget. Team Logistics has the innovative ability to create seamless events that allow our clients to dream big and deliver an amazing event that is sure to wow you. Think Logistics, whatever the reason, and watch them build an environment of magic and wonder for your special occasions. Get a quote and more information online at logisticsllc.com or give them a call at 276-6060.
If you want our Valley's voice to be heard, vote for Shelley. She keeps her word. Choose Shelley Hughes. Oh, you won't regret it, so don't forget it. She's got your back, and that's a fact. Choose Shelley Hughes. With Hughes on your side, you can't go wrong. Come on and sing our winning song. Choose Shelley Hughes.
37, and approved by former Police Chief Walt Monaghan and former Fire Chief Craig Goodrich chairs. Top 3 contributors are APDEA, Anchorage Firefighters, and AFSCME International of Washington, D.C.
Trail Boss Solutions is an Alaskan-owned, nationally recognized top 500 construction and remodel firm. From our handyman services to our award-winning kitchen design and remodel, Trail Boss Solutions is fully licensed, bonded, and insured, and has the experienced professionals to take your project from initial design through completion on time and on budget. Please visit us on the web at trailboss-solutions.com or contact Trail Boss Solutions Direct at 646-1403.
When I grew up, I wanted to be a pro basketball player.
An elementary school teacher.
Oh, an Olympic gymnast.
No matter what dream you choose or where you are in life, your local Country Financial representative offers helpful advice on everything from auto and home insurance to financial planning, education to retirement, and business insurance too, so that you can continue to grow and dream. For more information, visit countryfinancial.com or call 1-866-COUNTRY. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Why is A&A The Shop Alaska's independent Subaru specialist? How is it they've been voted the best shop in Anchorage not once but 6 times? Well, it's pretty simple. They offer the best warranty in the business. If they work on your Subaru, you're going to get a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on both parts and labor. That's unheard of. A&A The Shop deals exclusively with Subarus, and they also offer $35 oil changes. All their technicians are ASE certified. Call A&A The Shop for an appointment. 562-3919 in Anchorage and 696-2096 in Eagle River.
Here's my good friend, Keith Monternock.
Automotive repairs can be frustrating. Let me help. Call 349-1637. I have been in business for nearly 20 years at the same location. Specialty Truck and Auto is in South Anchorage behind the Long Branch Saloon where Diamond becomes Abbott. I have 6 ASE certified technicians working from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. I have a voucher for any of the 6 Alaska Laser Wash locations for each customer. If you schedule ahead and need a ride when you drop your vehicle off, I may be able to help. Call Specialty Truck and Auto, 349-1637.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give them
them a call. 569-1080.
All right, welcome back. Program is now restored to sanity, and we've moved out of our National Enquirer phase.
Sanity and normalcy.
Normalcy. Yeah, I'm not real proud of what we just did. I know that, you know, Catherine Newmeyer is here with us, who we're very fond of and admire. She's principal of the Holy Rosary Academy, and I don't know if you have to be religious to be the principal of a Catholic school, but do you ever do something knowing that I don't really think God wants me to do this? Do you ever do that?
Well, I try
Ever?
not to. Part of.
But occasionally.
Every once in a while, I wish I could restate something. This is very true.
Well, because I was, this clip that we played. I know you said you didn't hear it, and it was the Palin brawl.
Sure.
And it was so compelling to listen to it. It's so dramatic.
Right.
No good comes from playing it. No one's going to be, no one's going to learn anything. It really just makes the people on the tape look really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of, taking someone's failure and exposing it and exploiting it for entertainment purposes.
Right.
So,
I'm not sure.
I'm really surprised you let me play it. Not that, I'm not putting it on Glenn, but normally you're my conscience. You know what?
I don't think. Look, there's always something to learn.
There's nothing to learn from that.
Oh, yes, there is.
Really?
You do not want your children to go off to a party with people who you don't know. You do not want your children to be around people who are drinking heavily. The language that's used in front of police officers, I thought that was very instructive. There's a whole bunch of things. Yeah, people don't talk to police that way in my world. I don't get how people could possibly disrespect a police officer like that.
So how was listening to Bristol and Willow drop the F-bomb 30 times, how did that change you in any way? How did that educate you?
I understand the world is not the way I want it to be. And a lot of times we have to, we're going to come up against this world. And in order to make arguments, we have to understand the world. We have to know what it is. We have to know where it is and how people live in it. And these kinds of because I don't get reality TV either, right? I don't watch that kind of stuff. So this is really my reality. This is my reality check.
So you didn't know people dropped the F-bombs before?
Not in front of the police department.
But
I've never even heard that. Have you ever heard anybody do anything like that?
What I want to say is that we know that young people are so persuaded about celebrity and popularity. And, Willow and Bristol have put themselves out there, and their mother and father have let them put themselves out there as kind of a standard, as kind of a beacon of sort of the American dream. You can make it and all of these things. But when you find out that at the core there's something fundamentally wrong here about the respect that they have either for the country or for even their peers and the people with whom they live, then you realize, and for me it's a cautionary tale for a lot of young people, what can happen, what can go to your head when you begin to get popularity and fame, and is that really what you want?
Can I, in the future, if I have a crisis of conscience, can I call you personally?
Absolutely.
That was very calming.
I can obviously no longer depend on Glenn.
Thank you.
I am very because this is a good question for you. We're talking to Catherine Newmeyer, who is the principal of Holy Rosary Academy. I am absolutely shocked at the language young people use today.
It is discouraging. My mother always called it pollution. It's a different kind of pollution, but it pollutes the air, and it takes every situation and it reduces it. It puts it at a vulgar level, and that really doesn't bring out the best. And one of the things I'm known for at my school with all my students is she doesn't like four-letter words.
Yes.
And the kids will tell every new student who walks into my classroom, no four-letter words. Because it really does actually change the atmosphere and reduce everybody's standards.
The atmosphere, that's the perfect way to describe it. It releases something in the atmosphere. It changes it. Words are so powerful.
They are so powerful. And naming things is so important.
And I'll tell you another thing, Catherine. I hear parents in front of their children using words that I just can't imagine.
Like out in public or in restaurants or
sitting there in their living room.
Right. Just passing the time.
And they don't talk to their kids, but they'll among the adults, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like they'll talk to each other. You know, the
Right.
adults in the
And
room.
the kids are hearing it.
Yeah, they're hearing every word. I remember, you know, Paul Muller and Bernie. Her name was Bernie. They ever called her Bernie. They were my parents' good friends, and I never heard my dad say a bad word, by the way, or my mother, never once. And but they came over one time, and she said like a bad word, and I was sitting right there, and I was a kid, and my parents looked at me, you know, and I was like, what do we do? What do we do?
Where's the rule book?
So it just wasn't, you know, it's just the way my parents ran their household, you know, it just wasn't But today, man, of course, you know, the movies, the rap music,
right?
You know,
it's like breathing, and
it is,
you know, but it goes along also with tone. You know how you often say, "Don't take that tone with me," with a child. But language, that kind of vulgar language, it's fraught with tone, and that tone is also saying, "I don't respect you enough to use the beautiful language that we have."
You know,
and
so
we have to check ourselves.
I think the F word is so powerful, and this is not myth, because I checked it out. The word, the origination, I know you may have heard this, but it's fornication under the king's command.
That's right.
Or under the command of the king.
Under the command of the king, yep.
And the reason that the word was used is because the king's knights were given permission to rape whomever they wanted to, if the king approved it. How vile.
Again, yeah.
And people just drop this word all the time. It's one of the most vile words. It's about raping people.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, and that's why it's so powerful.
I wonder if more people knew that, if, you know, they would think twice.
I don't know, but it's such a powerful word.
I think that's what attracted people to use it, though. They
You
felt
think-
like it could create the shock that they
It does. It has power to it.
And you want
for
shock.
kids, just like you said, Dan, the adults, you know, the adults sort of kept these words away from the kids, and so the kids have sort of tried to adopt them to try and escalate or elevate themselves into. Well, I'm going to use adult language here,
right?
But, you know, really figuring out how to say things the right way, so that they maintain their power and their, you know, it takes an effort, but that's really becoming an adult, because it's easy to say these words these days. It doesn't differentiate you from anybody.
Right.
Sadly. Too bad.
Well, you wonder what television is going to be like 15, 20 years from now.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll keep bleeping things or just stop eventually. It
I don't
seems
even know
like
if there'll
a
be
lot of
television.
words.
I know.
That's true.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I think what's it down to, like 15, 20% of all of our viewing comes through television. Well, my kids just went through their dawn rags yesterday, which I don't think anybody else is going to recognize that term. Basically, it's a parent-teacher conference.
A kind of conference, but it's very unique. We love it. We do it something. It's something that was done in Oxford, you know, many years ago. The Dons are the teachers. Oxford University. Okay. Many years ago, the Dons are the teachers. They would meet with the students.
Why the word Don?
And,
What's the significance?
It's just a term that was
a term of respect.
For respect, right? Like Don Jose, like
okay.
Talk about a nobleman.
Okay.
But the professors were called Dons, or are called Dons, and they would rag or reprimand or correct students as they're studying. And so we have brought back that practice. And what it is that
you know what? I got to stop you there.
Okay.
We're against the break, but we'll come back and we'll continue.
I look forward to that.
With Catherine Newmeyer, who is the principal of Holy Rosary Academy. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie, stay with us. Holy Rosary Academy. Fagan, stay with us.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel. Give him a call, 569-1080, KOAN.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-319-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-319-MY-TV.
At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-319-MY-TV. That's 877-319-MY-TV.
Hi, I'm Senator Anna Fairclough. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of seeing good people attacked. And that's why I'm speaking to you about my friend Kathy Giesel. Senator Giesel deeply cares about her neighbors and what matters to them. She takes the time to listen to their issues and bring those concerns to Juneau. I'm disappointed that her opponent is willing to attack her and not stand on his own record. Kathy Giesel is someone I'm proud to work with, and with your support, she'll continue to fight for you.
Thanks, Anna. I'm Senator Kathy Giesel. I'm proud to serve with great Alaskans like Anna Fairclough, and I'm proud to be your voice in Juneau. I'll stand on my record and the work I've done in Juneau. From issues like healthcare, jobs, education, and a long-term fiscal plan to keep Alaska on the right track, I'm there for you. Paid for by re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel for State Senate 12701 Ridgewood Road, Anchorage, Alaska 99516.
You know, there are many people in Anchorage who have their own special place for gifts for occasions like Mother's Day or birthdays, anniversaries, whatever. Into Bell's Nursery and Gifts they go. And there's always something perfect. Bell's Gift Shop on Specking Road has a truly incredible selection of unique creative gift ideas. Crystal, glass, and china and flatware, a wonderful kitchen section, candles, lotions and potions, and of course delicious See's candies and lots more. Great for browsing or finding that special gift. The Gift Shop at Bell's Nursery on Specking Road.
Hot talk, KOAN, man. You're on with Fagan and Biegel. 1080KOAN.com.
.647 on a Wednesday morning. Catherine Newmeyer, who is the principal at Holy Rosary Academy. So Dawn is a teacher?
Dawn is a teacher.
Never heard that.
Yeah.
Don Jose, Don
So
Juan,
you were
Don.
telling us about Glen's
yeah, my kids got torn down and then built up. Or built up and then torn down.
So this is basically a parent-teacher conference.
The parents are silent during the large part of it, and we're listening on as the teachers, in somewhat gruesome detail, sort of discuss the habits of your children in front of you and in front of the child, and you say, well, we like this about them, but let's get into the parts that need correcting.
Okay.
I thought it was educational. Do most of the parents, are they quiet after the discussion?
Actually, I've been finding that a lot of them are very pleased because they realize that the teachers know their children well, and they recognize what the teachers are getting at, and it affords them the opportunity to say, you know, this is something that we've been noticing from home. So it's nice to hear this, and what we do is, you know, we really talk amongst ourselves. It's actually a wonderful way as teachers to come to a sort of sense about this student, and in the process, the child and the parents sit and listen, and we're kind of a fishbowl while they're listening. They come to realize how much, number one, the teachers care about the students and take the time to note what's going on. And then they also, I think for the young people, they realize how much the teachers really do understand.
Oh, that's good.
And then I'm the scribe.
They probably don't even think that the teachers are even paying attention.
Right.
That's
I think they're just amazed by that.
Yeah.
And you know, we always ask at the end, you know, because the student has a chance to respond to what they've heard, and then the parents have a chance to respond.
None of my kids have ever responded, by the way.
No, they don't.
But I always do. You know why I do?
I'm glad.
As a parent. Speak into the microphone.
Oh, sorry.
But do you know why I always respond? Because it's one of the times when my kids are 100% attentive.
Yes.
And whatever I say, they're going to remember.
Right. No, and we're happy to afford you that opportunity. And then I'm the scribe, so I sit in there whether I teach the student or not, and I type up what the other teachers have said, because sometimes, you know, the blood is pumping to the, you know, the ears, and the child's thinking, what is the teacher going to say? And And so I type it up so that they can take something away with it.
Okay.
And so we try to just talk about the strengths, and then wherever we see areas of growth, we try to really encourage them.
I want to ask you, as an educator, this emphasis on education in our culture. I was talking to a gal yesterday, very highly intellectual woman, and I was talking to her about the Senate race. And I said, how are you going to go on that? She says, well, I disagree with Dan Sullivan on just about everything, and I agree with Mark Begich on just about everything. But since Sullivan, went to Harvard, he has a Georgetown law degree, and Mark Begich never went to college, I just can't support a guy who doesn't have a college degree. And I know her. She's just very intellectual. Intellectualism is her whole focus in life. And I just found that very unusual that she would, just because a guy doesn't, pass her intellectual mustard, even though she disagrees with him on everything, or agrees with him on everything, I find that there's this intellectual class today in our culture. They typically lean left. It's all about the brain. The heart doesn't even exist as far as they're concerned. Do you find that? And as an educator, how do you deal with, that whole push toward intellectualism?
Well, I think it's falsely narrowing what education is. Education does not have to happen inside a building, inside a room, sitting at a desk. In fact, some of the best learning that we do is experiential, and it's out experiencing life as it really is. And so there's a balance there, and it's why we are a classical school, because the idea is that you learn for the rest of your life. Aristotle says we're made by our very nature to know. That's what man seeks. That's what he wants to know.
Right.
But how he does it is, multifaceted. He might do it through a forum like a school that kind of narrows and sometimes focuses you, gives you a kind of methodical approach, and that can be very important for habits, intellectual habits in particular. However, it's not the only means by which you learn, and I would say that all the experience that you have outside and working, all of that is adding to your understanding of humanity, of yourself, and coming to terms with what life is about. And really, if we're not taking what we learn in the classroom and looking outside in the greater world to see if that applies, then we're probably not really studying. We're just being sort of brainwashed.
But isn't there a big difference between knowledge and wisdom?
Yes, there is.
What is the difference between knowledge?
Well, I would say that wisdom is the experience accrued, and it's the repetition of that experience accrued, so that which you thought you knew, now is true.
Yeah, because you practiced it.
Yeah.
So it turns to wisdom. You learn it, and then you put it into play, and then all of a sudden it becomes wisdom.
Or you put it under scrutiny too.
Yeah.
You go through the intellectual process. Have we defined our terms properly? Have we made the distinctions? Do we understand genus, species? Do we understand all the parts of this? And each time we test it, is there a sort of universal application and then a specific application that works?
What role does humility play?
A lot, because as soon as you think you know, you'll be knocked down by experience or
so
by
if
somebody.
You're not humble, and if you're pride and you think you're all knowing, you're not going to something changes. You're not going to be receptive.
You're also you're not receptive to learning more from other people. So humility is very important. That's why Socrates, for example, for whom we mimic our Socratic method in the classroom, he asked questions. He did not pontificate.
Right.
He didn't tell everybody what they had to think.
Right.
He simply listened to what they did say they thought and asked them pointed questions to the point where they realized, I thought I knew this, and I guess I don't.
It takes a confidence, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To listen and to question as opposed to pontificate.
Yes. You can't be afraid to learn more, and you can't be afraid for people to even argue with you. Arguing is a very, the Greeks knew this was instrumentally important to learning and for the political process.
Right.
However, today, arguing is seen as you don't like me, I don't like you.
Confrontation.
And so, so we don't actually know how to argue. We just make emotional barbs at one another. And so that's a loss in the educational field for sure. There's kind of a thought control that goes on in the classroom.
And there's a lot of sarcasm. I remember when Dina Paramore was on here from the Matsuboro, the superintendent there, she was talking about sarcasm and how it's so damaging to children.
And we
that
think
really
they
made an
can
impact.
interpret it, and they can't yet. They
Right.
don't know enough to be able to appreciate where that's
Right.
coming from. And it's generally a veiled form of anger about something.
Wow.
Is it?
And kids recognize that. Yeah.
That's really
Mark
good.
Twain, he was pretty darn angry about a lot
Yeah,
of
he
things,
was.
and he was
sarcasm,
so satirical, but
sarcasm comes from anger.
It does.
Doesn't anger come from a sense of powerlessness?
Yes, fear.
Ugh, that is so
Born out
true.
of fear.
And so that comes from insecurity.
Parenting.
Yes.
I'm thinking of that.
Because these two have no sarcastic tendencies. Every once in a while.
Yeah, and he'll point it out to me.
Yeah, I'll say, was that sarcasm? Because it's so unusual to come from him. Well, I used to. It's funny because I've changed a lot in the last 3 years, and I used to love Letterman.
Yes.
He's intensely sarcastic
All the time, without relief.
Oh, it's nonstop. And I kind of, in many ways, copycatted him in my comedic abilities. And I didn't even realize it, how much I've changed, because I don't watch him now. I just don't find it the least bit funny.
Right.
Sarcasm is really not that
It
funny.
can be exhausting because it's always asking somebody to react to what you're saying, and in a positive way, when sometimes you recognize this person is actually putting down something that I value.
Yes.
Like when I'm telling my my son and I say, are you not hearing me? Or something, I know, that was mean. And oh, I'm so sorry.
Right. Yeah, no, they sense that.
Yeah.
Hey, the Guard got kicked out. National Guard, of course, horrible stories about the recruiters, and I don't think that it's all the recruiters, certainly, but a number of the recruiters have had a problem. And I guess the National Guard recruiters got kicked out now from the Anchorage School District and for an indefinite period of time, and they got kicked out from the Matsu School District as well for, I guess, some brief period of time while it's being addressed. What's the right thing here? I mean, guide us through this.
It's a tough thing to figure out, but it seemed like the whole reaction was such a knee-jerk reaction. It wasn't a thoughtful one, but it sort of implies that if you have the potential to do something bad, then we better shut you down.
Wow.
Which would sort of include all teachers, because they have the potential of making some wrong decisions around young people too. I think you have to do the
They're
proper...
hoping that the same standard's not applied to their employees.
I guess so.
As National Guard
I guess
employees.
so. It seemed unreasonably punitive and sweeping. So not a prudent, thoughtful. Had it been born out of studies that had gone on for quite some time, had been a measured response, I'd be much more interested. But it seemed like a visceral one, and so consequently, I get the feeling that there's something more about shutting down military on campus than
than
other
righting a wrong or
situations.
Protecting children.
Right.
Right. Well, you don't have to wonder about that.
We're talking to Catherine Newmeyer, who's the principal of Holy Rosary Academy. Can we hold you over?
Sure, I'd be delighted.
Since you're the new conscience of the show. We'll take a break. 6:59. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. We'll take a break. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor, call us right away. 24/7, it's a pizza party day.
October is National Pizza Month. Just hearing the word pizza brings a smile to almost everyone's face. And Sicily's Pizza wants to make you smile 5 times as big with their National Pizza Month special. Get as many as 5 medium 2-topping pizzas for only $9.99 each. Whatever style you like. For fast delivery, call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's National Pizza Month special. 333-8000 or order online at SicilysPizza.com. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza. 333-8000.
You're listening to Hot Talk, KOAN, Anchorage, AM 1080, and retranslated on 95.1 FM on K236CG, Anchorage.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Canada's parliament is on lockdown after reports of gunfire inside. One person was shot nearby. Fox News Radio Steve Taylor is monitoring live from Washington.
The shooting happened at the National War Memorial in Ottawa, the capital of Canada. A man believed to be a military guard was shot and wounded. Unconfirmed reports say the shooter ran into the Canadian Parliament building and shots were fired there.
The entire area where the shots have been affected has been sealed.
Ottawa Police Constable Chuck Benoit says there are multiple suspects, but no arrests so far. 2 days ago, 2 Canadian soldiers were run over, one of them killed by a person with jihadist sympathies. Dave?
Steve, does your car have a dangerously faulty airbag? The U.S. government's urging you and everyone else to check immediately, adding 3 million more vehicles to a recall warning. Fox News Radio's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
The recall is almost 8 million vehicles now made by BMW, Chrysler, Ford, GM, Mazda, Honda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Subaru, and Toyota. Now, the airbags made by Japanese company Takata can rupture, causing metal fragments to fly out when they're deployed. Manufacturers have limited the recalls to high humidity areas like Florida and some places near the Gulf of Mexico. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has urged people to check its website for recall information, and it offers a tool that allows them to check their vehicle ID number. It malfunctioned yesterday, and it's still down, Dave.
Tanya, Jeffrey Fowles back in the U.S. The American detained in North Korea. His family in Ohio is relieved.
We'd like to thank God for his hand of protection over Jeff these past 6 months.
There wasn't much inflation last month. Consumer prices rose just 0.1% as gas keeps getting cheaper. Low inflation means a modest cost of living adjustment for Americans who get Social Security. A 1.7% increase next year, an average $20 a month more. On Wall Street, not much action. The Dow's up 5 points. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
If you're looking for exhilaration, you've found it. Whether cruising the road with a KOAN AM Spider, pounding trails with KOAN AM ATVs and side-by-sides, or carving snow with Ski-Doo sleds, these machines are engineered to thrill and perform. During the Yellow Tag event, save up to $4,000 on select models, plus get up to a 4-year extended warranty and great financing. Visit employee-owned Alaska Mining and Diving Supply in Anchorage. Offer ends October 31st. Restrictions apply. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for details. For safety and training info, contact the ATV Safety Institute.
America was built by people with a few dollars and a dream. And while many don't know it, there's one path to success that still only requires a dream and about $10. That's right. If your dream is to start or grow your business, something as simple as the right business card could make all the difference. And today at Vistaprint.com, you can get 500 full-color business cards for only $9.99. That's right, only $9.99. Just go to Vistaprint.com and enter promo code 1818 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 1818.
If you're looking for the movies, there's just one place to go. Check out moviesandgo.com. It's showtime, movie times, reviews, and more. Get tickets, friends, stuff. Lots of information to explore. Great restaurants. Now you'll know just where to go before and after every show. Check out moviesandgo.com. It's showtime.
Mia Costello, Lance Pruitt, and Kathy Giesel haven't served that long in Juneau, but they have got it figured out. Junkets, Kathy Giesel has spent $80,000 on travel. Booyah, taxpayers! Taking care of donors, Costello, Pruitt, and Giesel supported the new LIO with a sole source contract that increases rent 5 times over current rates. Let Pruitt do it to us again. And having it both ways, Costello, Pruitt, and Giesel want to take money from your neighborhood schools and give it to private and religious ones instead. All the while saying they are pro-education. Sweet, huh? Yep, Costello, Pruitt, and Giesel have it figured out. Do you? This notice to voters is required by Alaska law. We certify this ad is not authorized, paid for, or approved by the candidate. This ad paid for by Putting Alaskans First Committee. Top contributors are Alaska AFL-CIO, UA Local 375 PAC, and PSEA PAC.
All my life, I've enjoyed hunting and fishing, but as I got older, it made it harder to enjoy the Alaskan outdoors. Thanks to Chugach Chiropractic, I'm back on the stream enjoying Alaska.
Besides aligning the spine, we also deal with the musculature and the nervous system of the body.
To do that, we not only adjust the spine, but we also balance muscles along with various therapies and deep tissue therapy. We help bring the body.
Current rates. Let Pruitt do it to us again. And having it both ways, Costello, Pruitt, and Giesel want to take money from your neighborhood schools and give it to private and religious ones instead. All the while saying they are pro-education. Sweet, huh? Yep, Costello, Pruitt, and Giesel have it figured out. Do you? This notice to voters is required by Alaska law. We certify this ad is not authorized, paid for, or approved by the candidate. This ad paid for by Putting Alaskans First Committee. Top contributors are Alaska AFL-CIO, UA Local 375 PAC, and PSEA PAC.
This is Olympic cross-country skier Holly Brooks. Do you know a girl who loves camping, sports and science, community service, and making new friends? If so, she's ready to be a Girl Scout.
We'll come up with something if you don't have anything.
They develop life skills, habits of teamwork, and a strong
Yeah,
sense
no,
of
we talked about her down there.
girl a chance to discover who she is and what she can be. How do I know? Because I was a Girl Scout. Visit www.girlscoutsalaska.org or call 248-2250.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online 9 a.m. The Talk of the Valley, KVNT.
709. No, it's 706. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie right here on KOAN, KVNT. The new conscience of the Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron show, Catherine Newmeyer, who is the principal at Holy Rosary Academy, which is, how many private schools in Alaska?
That's a good question.
Dozen?
Yeah, at least a dozen.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
and you're a
14.
Catholic school.
We're Catholic school.
You do not require your students to be Catholic.
Nope, we do not.
But they're going to hear Catholicism.
They will.
Yeah,
They
they know that going in.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is your take about what's going on in the Catholic Church? I know that there was some documents released recently that some characterized as being more open to gay marriage and being more open to divorce. And the way I read it, the way I interpret it, is that the new Pope kind of rejected some of those documents.
Mm-hmm.
People were hoping that he wouldn't. There's clearly an internal conflict within the church.
There's a struggle to find the language to deal with the radical changes that are going on in our culture. And there are truly radical changes. When you begin to propose something like marriage that for 2,000 years has been between a man and a woman, and you begin to propose it as between a man or a woman and a woman, you're actually redefining something that's been a part of the culture and been essential to the culture's survival, since the beginning of since Adam and Eve.
Tried and
so
tested.
when you're doing something like that, everybody's trying to find the language. And I know as the Catholic Church, the language first and foremost is the love that God has for humanity. And you want to emphasize that, and this Pope in particular wants to emphasize that. But what happens is, and I was explaining this to a confirmation class that I teach over at St. Benedict's Church, what happens is when the
Father
church,
Leo's church?
It is Father
I
Leo.
love him.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Awesome.
Yeah. But what happens is you're trying to define what is so important to the Catholic Church, which is the sacramentality, the holiness of marriage, the insolubility of marriage. And as you're trying to do that, that necessarily brings up very raw feelings in those people who have chosen to live a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And then they begin to see that the church is indicting us and is putting us down.
Yes.
And the Pope really wants to change that look, because the church is interested in spreading the love that Jesus Christ has for all of humanity.
Right.
And that's what they want to do. But what gets in the way of that is at times the church has to define what it means and what true charity is and what true love is. And sometimes true love, as parents know so well, is telling your children the truth about something.
Yes.
So that they can begin to understand the way the world works, and they begin to understand the way Christ came to teach us about how the world works.
Well, the word relevancy was used in the debate,
mm-hmm.
that we need to adopt and change because we need to remain relevant. Do you buy that?
I don't, because Jesus is, God is the Alpha, the Omega. He's, first and the last and always was. So there's no need for relevancy because he always was and he always will be. But there is a time, as I said, when the language that is used needs to help people to understand better what the church is trying to encourage them in terms of living a good life. But there are certain arenas now that used to be moral decisions. It used to be a moral decision to engage in sexual intimacy with another person. But today it's not. It's simply a right. People call it a sort of political right. I always ask them, where does it come from? Where does this right authorize that you can have relations with anybody you want, whenever you want, however you want? But because it's so pervasive in our culture, it's very shocking to young people to have you bring something back to sort of a moral question. Well, is this good for you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're sort of like, well, that's not really a factor in the way I think about things. So the church is always doing that. It's always asking, is this true? Is this good? Is this beautiful?
Yeah.
And if it's not, is it good for you?
There's this scene in the TV show Cheers, and Sam is going to see this priest with Diane, and the priest basically says, well, obviously, you're not going to engage in sexual intercourse until you're married, and they both just laugh. Or actually, Sam laughs, and it was just, what a crazy concept.
Right.
But that's where we are now.
Right.
It's like, what? Get married? We have sex?
Right.
Are you actually out of your mind?
Yeah, if on your television show or movie they didn't have sex within meeting each other 30 minutes later, you're like, wow, this relationship's really taking a long time.
Well, every romantic comedy, there's going to be sex outside of marriage.
Right.
Everyone.
Right.
No
I used to try to discourage my students, please don't watch Friends. And so if they insisted on watching Friends, I say, have a notebook next to you, and every time there's an inappropriate comment, there's something that's really outside of the bounds of the faith that we've been studying, just put a check mark. And they just came back and they said, in the first 5 minutes I had so many check marks I had to turn it off,
Well, I want to, Catherine, I want to ask you about gay marriage. And I have a very good friend of mine in Los Angeles, and she's very involved in the movie industry.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a woman of faith,
has
a husband, 5 kids, great people, very moral people as far as I know. They seem very moral to me. But she's convinced that God condones homosexual sex. And she has come to that position because of what she sees in her world. She sees gay people all the time who appear to love each other.
Right.
And she doesn't think they should be denied that experience.
Right.
So she has that has affected her theology.
Right. Well, there's 2 things in conflict. There's love versus lust. And that's really important. At the fall, Adam and Eve fell. They didn't know they were naked until they fell, until they sinned.
Yeah.
And so we confuse love because really there are so many ways in which we love. We love our parents and they love us, but we don't have sexual relations with them. We love our friends. We really love or are extremely fond of our animals, but we don't have relations with them. And what's happened is there are sort of 3 types of love relationships that we have. We have love relationships with those people that we care about simply because they're human beings. We selflessly love them and we want to care for them. We have friendship love, and I think that that's diminished unbelievably because we used to call that love relationship between a man and a man friendship, and between a woman and woman. And friendship has the potential, Cicero always thought, to be the most intimate of all relationships, that's the most fulfilling because you choose a friend who shares your values, who shares the way that you look at life, with whom you can really grow. And that's sort of diminished. Every relationship now seems to be about eros, or if I love somebody, it must be expressed sexually. And that's a confusion. That's a profound confusion in how we relate to one another as human beings.
You would make an incredible priest. Why are there not women priests? I'm going to hold you one more segment.
Zing.
That's the question for Catherine Newmeyer, principal of Holy Rosary Academy. She teaches what do you teach?
I teach a modern seminar class.
Okay, why are there not female priests? I would go to whatever Catholic church you were the priest of. So we'll ask you that when we come back, plus other things. 569-1080. Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie, stay with us. Time currently 7:14. Other thing. 569-1080. Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie, stay with us. Time currently 7:14.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning on the Talk of the Valley, KVNT.
Hi, my name is Mike Ferris, president of Alaska Enterprise Solutions. We are the face of Xerox in Alaska. Xerox is a trendsetter, and AES Xerox is following in those footsteps. We are the document management experts, specializing in short-term rentals of copiers and scanners. We have offices in Anchorage and Fairbanks, and we are your Xerox professional agency with Alaska focus and worldwide support. You can reach us at aesalaska.com or 561-5100.
2014, Alaska's economy is picking up steam. Governor Sean Parnell has a gas pipeline project on track, signed agreements, field programs up and running, funding in place. But it's an election year, see? Bill Walker wants to stop this train. Walker's plan? Well, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy election. Walker tried to stop any gas line that didn't go to Valdez. Walker's plan had no gas, no permits. Alaskans know three things about Governor Parnell. He's an honest man, keeps his word, and cares deeply about Alaska. Parnell got Cook Inlet booming, Point Thompson and a gas pipeline moving forward, 16,000 new jobs created. Walker, he'd be a governor we'd regret. Maybe not today, but soon.
Re-elect Governor Sean Parnell, paid for by Parnell Sullivan 2014 for Alaska's future.
Tomcat kills up to 12 mice per bait block, faster than decon. What will we do with all of these dead mice? Tomcat presents Dead Mouse Theater, and the critics are raving. They solved my mouse problem and renewed my faith in theater. I like my mice dead, but dead mice that can act are even better. Tomcat got the mice out of my walls, onto the stage, and into my heart. Dead Mouse Theater, open to the public this fall at tomcat.com. Tomcat. Engineered to kill. 1 ounce bait block based on no choice lab tests. Time for lethal dose to death.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give them a call, 569-1080. KOAN. 92.5 FM, 1020 AM.
All right, welcome back. 7:17 in the morning. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Our good friend Mike Daniels over at Country Financial. Boy, he's so smart. We're talking about the difference between knowledge and wisdom. This is a guy who not only understands financial planning, he has educated himself thoroughly on all the techniques on how to get from point A to point B being a successful retirement. But he's employed them, and he's seen them work by the many customers he's helped through the years. Well, Country Financial, they've got 13 locations here in Alaska, 5 in Anchorage, 5 in the Valley. So they're not just about theory. They're about practicality. And I'm telling you, you will learn so many things about decisions you can make to make your future financially secure with Country Financial and the Country representatives. The number 866-COUNTRY, 866-COUNTRY, and Bonnie's not in the room, so Glenn, I have to ask you.
COUNTRY.
Thank you.
That.
All right, our number here, 569-1080. Catherine Newmeyer, the conscience of the Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie show, is here with us. So why are there not female priests in the Catholic Church, and should there be? Did I say you're the principal of?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
By the way, I needed someone to spell country.
Oh,
I did it.
Sorry.
I did it.
Yes. Don't tell me to spell condition, because that's the word I got wrong.
Oh, no.
When I got out of the spelling bee.
I missed country today. That's a shame.
He didn't do it very well.
Come on.
Brutal.
All right.
Rough crowd.
Well, you've asked
why
a
are
question, age-old question about priests, and it's simple, but it's not something people want to make as simple as it is. But at the end of the day, it's simply because Christ elected to have as to stand in his place men not
disciples?
because the 12 disciples, and not because he doesn't think women are incredible, because he was surrounded by women, and those were the first to discover that he had risen from the dead. So there's no question, and in fact, the entire civilization as we knew it changed after Christ died and Christianity began to develop. The role of the woman, the centrality of it, and the importance of it changed so dramatically. But it's so important to realize that the church, to be part of the Catholic Church, the whole idea is not for you to ascend to greatness. In fact, Pope Gregory said, I'm the servants of the poor. That's my job, is to be the servants of the servants. And that's the way we all have to look at it. We serve this faith, and each of us brings what we have in our nature and what Christ has asked us to do to the table. And so I have the privilege of speaking with the most beautiful of God's creation, his children, about the faith every day. And so, some people think it's about power and it's about whether, women really have power in the church. But in fact, our voice, because we raise children, is the most profound one in many ways in the lives of all Catholics.
So because Jesus picked all males, 12 of them, one of them betrayed him, probably should have put a woman in there. She wouldn't have, I don't know.
Because women don't betray.
Right. But it's because, it's not because he didn't think that they were capable. It has nothing to do with capability.
But how do you not say, well, come on, Jesus, what's the deal? You don't like women? I mean, what? You got 12 positions open, and you don't pick any women. Something's up there. What?
Well, he's asked them to step in the person of him, and just as we
women
call,
too, or
just as we call God our Father.
Well, it was cultural too.
Yeah, but Jesus.
It was at the time, but if Jesus is going to found something, it's not going to be limited to anything.
He's going to have his own.
There was
rules.
deaconesses.
Right.
There
There were
deaconesses.
women who assisted, in many of the
tasks. But none of the
tasks.
original 12.
Right.
That's interesting.
But
I've
it's
never thought of that
it's
as in
because there's
relation
something in there's something in the nature of being in the person of Christ that's very important, to the church. But it isn't about ability, and I think that a lot of people reduce it to that. If I have the capability, I should be doing it. But it's because Christ founded the church that way. He really set it up that way, and we have to honor that.
You believe that God still can use women?
Absolutely.
But just not
and
in
uses
the
them. He uses them to raise children. I mean, the society in which we live, the women have such an intimate role in education, and a really vital role in love, in true charity, and how that is conveyed.
Well, if you the first commandment, love Lord God with all your heart. Second one, love your neighbors yourself. I think God prefers women. I think he loves women more than men, because every person on the planet was born through a woman. Right? So I think
participation in creation is so incredible.
Yeah, it is. And I just think women are more naturally loving. So if the criteria is to the degree that you love your neighbor, that's the favor you'll have with me, I guarantee you, he probably thinks, men are okay, but
and in that way, we are Christ-like all the time.
Yeah,
as Christians, we follow Christ, and so.
Yeah. What about priest marrying?
That's another situation where, in many ways, you have to look not only at what Christ did with his own apostles, in that he actually took them from their families to do the work they needed. And you begin to see that the work that it takes and the availability of a priest for all those who are wounded, all those that need healing, all those who need them, that you would, in fact, with a family, ask your family to have to choose, and you would constantly be choosing between the people that you serve and your own family. And that can create a struggle.
Glen Biegel has told me for years that I would be a much better talk show host if I had a wife. Am I right?
No, I
think
I said you'd be a much better person.
Okay, all the way around.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever. I knew it was better in there. But isn't there some truth to that? How can a Catholic priest who has zero experience raising children, has zero experience living out a romantic relationship, how can he be as good dealing with his parishioners as someone who's had experience in those realms.
And that's so important. And I really want to remind you that every priest had a mother and a father and lived in a family situation.
But he didn't.
And if the mother and the father and the family situation was what it should have been, that experience is something with which they have some authority, even though they haven't raised their own children.
Yeah, but I've been married. I was married once, for about 12 minutes. So I don't know anything about women. I honestly don't. So doesn't that? I can't imagine sitting down with a couple and trying to help them in their marriage.
We were talking about the intellect and experience, and priests go through a seminary experience. So first, even before they enter the seminary, due caution is taken that they're prepared and their understandings are healthy.
It's like, remember talking about the difference between knowledge and employing knowledge to get with. If you don't actually practice what you know theory-wise, how can you possibly be helping other people when you've never actually employed the theories you believe?
Well, but again, you give no credence to being a child of parents and experiencing.
But as a child, you're not practicing.
But the priest also isn't the only person who is bringing wisdom. There are billions of Catholics that have been around, and they all have an impact, and they all have an input. And it's all reflected in what about marriage is taught. So it's not like you go to church and here the priest has made up his entire theology on his own and said, well, this is the way we're going to do things here in this Catholic Church. It's 2,000 years old. It's made up of billions and billions of people over all that time, and they have worked out, this is what we think Christ meant. This is how it should work. And this is how it works best. So,
but if my wife and I are having problems, we're Catholic, we're going to go talk to the priest.
Dan, do you know how many sins a priest has heard? Do you have any idea?
Well, that's.
Do you know how many more times a priest has heard about sin and how much it damages someone? Than a person.
Well,
any other person who you know, who I know, who I'll ever know.
And Paul gave a lot of great advice to wives and husbands and
well, that's
parents.
true. He wasn't married.
And his definition of love is the one we use. Centrally.
Love is patient, love is kind.
And I actually think you give a lot of great advice.
All that crap.
And wisdom. Except for that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I suppose you're right. I'm just curious about this kind of stuff.
Because it's a dangerous road if you say we have to experience everything. Because there are things I never want to experience, and yet I know they're awful, like rape.
Exactly.
You don't want to experience that, and yet I have an understanding because I'm observing other people, and I'm taking as testimony from other people what they have experienced.
The perfect illustration of that point is when people say, well, you can't have an opinion about abortion because you're not a woman.
Right. I think that just is a specious argument.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no validity to it.
Maybe I'll open up.
If you're part of the human family, you have a say.
Maybe I'll open up a counseling service then.
There you go.
Just come, bring your wife, bring your husband. Come on, I'll help you guys.
The first few sessions, I have a feeling, would be really rough. But over time, Dan, you would really pull out of people some real great things to tell them.
You grill them.
I'd deal with the wife first. I'd say, what you have to do is you have to let your husband golf whenever he wants. That's the most important thing. And then anything past that really doesn't matter.
I'm not sure that's going to work. Hey, we do have to let people know you got a fundraiser coming up, by the way. I love my kids going to the school. They just went through
Holy Rosary Academy, Catherine Newmeyer.
A review, and it was very eye-opening, very helpful, and I just love the school. So you guys have been a big partner of mine, but fundraiser coming up this weekend?
We do. We have an auction. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. It's happening on the 25th in the evening, starting at 6 o'clock in the evening. If anybody wants to come and just look at some of our silent auction items. It'll be at Marriott's. And we have a few places left at the tables, but we're looking pretty full. And
who's your
excited.
Auctioneer?
His name is Jerry, and he is just superb. He's done it for us for years, and he gets everybody excited and truly has a love for the school.
So Saturday
and all of
night?
our students will be there. This is the thing about which I'm so proud. All of our upper school, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, and some of our 9th graders will be coming to help, and they put on their uniforms and remind everybody what this is this
Saturday night, Marriott. If people want tickets, they call
276-5822 Holy Rosary Academy.
276-5822. Catherine Newmeyer, Principal, Holy Rosary Academy. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It's
Appreciate
a privilege.
you coming by. All right, Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie, 7:29 is the time. Stay with us. 7:29 is the time. Stay with us.
For 20th through 26th, visit tryancestry.com. Tryancestry.com. That's TRY Ancestry.com.
With KOAN News, I'm Chuck White. Anchorage police were seeking an alleged carjacker last night. The victim told investigators she was looking for a parking spot in a lot on Lower Street early Tuesday morning when a white woman in her 20s, about 5 feet tall, demanded that operator get out of her 2001 light gray GMC pickup. The truck in question has a couple of stickers in the back window that read 907 and Alaska Pride. License plates DZZ204. Anyone with information is being asked to contact authorities. Church officials in Juneau have reported the theft of ivory elephant tusks and a whalebone carving from their thrift store, which normally experiences very little theft. The Holy Trinity Episcopal Church says someone stole 3 tusks worth $150 each and a whalebone with a carving of an Alaska Native woman carrying a child that was worth $450. Police say there are no leads right now. That's your Hot Talk News update.
Sunny much of the time today, high 38. Tonight mainly clear, low 28. Tomorrow sunshine and some clouds, high 34. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 22. Friday, intervals of clouds and sunshine, high 34. Saturday, plenty of sunshine, high 35. Hot Talk breaking news and the latest weather, KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
There's more terrible news coming out of the Parnell administration. We know that Parnell stalled an investigation about sexual abuse in the Alaska National Guard for 4 years. Parnell stalled, and women suffered because of it. Now he's firing and rehiring generals all within a 24-hour period. Public information requests are being denied. Parnell may be commander-in-chief of the Alaska Guard, but his political needs are derailing the chain of command. It's the troubling pattern of the Parnell administration. Powerful interests receive attention, but ordinary Alaskans are not getting the attention they deserve. The more we learn about Parnell's inaction, the more troubling it becomes. It's time for a change.
Paid for by Alaskans for Walker Malott. This notice to voters is required by Alaska law. We certify that this ad is not authorized, paid for, or approved by the candidate. Top 3 contributors are Alaska AFL-CIO, Barney Gottstein, and Robin Brenna.
When I grow up, I want to be a pro basketball player.
An elementary school teacher.
No matter what dream you choose or where you are in life, Country Financial helps you and your family grow your own way.
Or maybe a veterinarian.
A mom, a doctor, and president of the United States. Maybe an astronaut or, an Olympic gymnast.
You can grow your own way. We know some dreams take a little longer to achieve, which is why your local Country Financial representative offers helpful advice on everything. From auto and home insurance to financial planning, education to retirement, and business insurance too, so that you can continue to grow and dream.
Or maybe an accountant, like my dad.
For more information, visit countryfinancial.com or call 1-866-COUNTRY. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Do you remember that Beatles song? If the rain comes, they'll run and hide their heads. You know which one I'm talking about. Well, if that's you and you're inside your home or office, it's time to call Earhart Roofing. Call Earhart Roofing for all your roofing needs. Flat or pitched, large or small, Earhart Roofing will do the job quickly, and they'll do it right. Earhart Roofing, big enough to serve you and still small enough to care. Call 345-5555. That's 345-5555. Hot Talk KOAN, man.
Fagan and Biegel. Weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m.
I can't believe that. We just talked about sarcasm and how I don't employ it anymore. And during the break, I say, well, I just love doing this show. And then Bonnie's like, yeah, whatever.
No, I didn't say that.
You don't believe
my
me.
look, I guess, said it all.
You made it sound like I'm being sarcastic. Let me tell you something. When I was in California doing a talk show, where I didn't know the mayor, I had the mayor on and the city council, and we had the state assemblymen on and the state senators and all those people. I didn't know Jack. So, and I had to fill 3 hours.
Wow.
And that was brutal.
That would be really rough.
Oh, nobody knew me. Who's that guy on the radio? And even doing the show on QD, which I loved, and it's a lot easier to do a talk show when you have no regard for people's feelings. So that it wasn't that it was that difficult. But it was still those days that you go, how am I going to make it to 5 o'clock? I just don't get that with this show. I mean, it's like a breeze, man. It's just so easy.
I'm still getting to know you, Dan. There's times when I'm like, is he serious? Is he being serious? Because then you told me one time that you don't give compliments, or when you give compliments, you don't really mean them.
That's not true.
Okay, let me give you a little roadmap for Dan here. He's either being serious or he's being very serious.
Oh.
Those are the two options you got.
Okay, well then.
That's Dan in a nutshell.
That's great, Dan. I'm glad you like this show.
Yeah, is that okay? I don't think that even back when I was sarcastic, I was truthfully sarcastic.
There was a little bit of truth.
There was a lot of truth.
A lot of truth, okay.
Yeah. And now that I'm trying not to be sarcastic, I'm not even trying. It just doesn't come out of me anymore.
Occasionally.
It does, I guess, sometimes, yeah.
Well, you can't help that. Look, we're
fun.
all made up
I
of
like
all
it.
different parts. The reality of the situation, you got two things in your house that if you don't maintain.
Big screen TV.
Yeah, big screen TV.
And then your cigar
and your chips
humidor.
and dips. Yeah, no, actually, it's your roof and your foundation. If your foundation has trouble, you know you can't sell your house, and your house is going to end up being worthless. Your roof, too, and the foundation in general will be okay, but your roof has to be replaced. We had tens of thousands of houses built here in the 80s. I mean, probably 50% of the houses in town were built in the 80s, which is 30 years ago. It turns out the best technology they had back then, a 30-year roof. Now they've got 50-year roofs. If you're looking for somebody to bid on your project, and this is really any project you have, Earhart Roofing, they're great at what they do. Better Business Bureau Business of the Year, latest in technology, licensed, bonded, and insured. Just give them a call. Include them in the process. Oftentimes you're going to get multiple bids. At least give them a shot at your job. Earhart Roofing, 345-5555. Frank, James, and Becky right there for you.
738, our number, 569-1080. 569-1080. We're gonna play this Palin clip for you a little bit later on. We edited it down to a condensed version, and it is heavily bleeped because of the language, but I think you will find it interesting and hopefully informative and educational. The debate yesterday in the Kenai Peninsula, they asked Sullivan and Mark Fish and Mark Begich what they were most proud of. Sullivan said it was his, the choose respect thing. Getting people aware, domestic violence, making a difference, getting it where it's no longer taboo to talk about it, no longer swept under the rug. And I think that's a good accomplishment. Mark Fish said he got to work on Black Hawk helicopters that were
for the
military, and it felt like that was part of promoting freedom. Mark Begich talked about a government program he started.
Really?
Oh, typical.
Mm-hmm.
Typical
so he
liberal.
spent other people's money.
That's it.
And that's the
Wow.
life that he lives in.
That's it.
That's eye-opening.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Not for me, but hopefully for others.
you do wonder whether or not people get it. Okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing that Mark Begich thinks wouldn't be done better if we just had the federal government do it.
So what was the program he was proud of?
I don't even remember.
Wow.
Yeah. Something with tribal something.
Oh, so he was trying to reel in
That's political, though.
Yes.
I mean, let's be
That's
honest.
a political answer.
Yeah. The other guys were actually speaking from the heart, their experience. What Begich had done there is he took, because he knows he's got to win 70% of the native vote. If he doesn't get 70% of the native vote, he's in trouble.
He's got to get 130%.
I had Matt Larkin
Yeah.
on the program, and I asked him, what percentage of the native vote do you think he'll get? He said 60 to 65.
Yeah. But he needs 130 at this
He
point.
needs 130.
telling
That's
you.
right.
All
That's
right.
right. Why would they vote for him anyway? I don't know.
Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
Oh, bless his heart.
Poor Donald Young.
Oh my God.
He needs to go.
Bless his soul.
And figuratively.
And
I
$2.
shouldn't say that.
What else did he say? Oh my gosh.
Well, he was out at Matsu yesterday, or I guess was it yesterday? this week, and there were some problems that people had with some of the things that he said. He used some very spicy language, some words you're not supposed to use.
Images not appropriate for children?
There was a kid who had killed himself in the valley recently, and this was actually yesterday when Don Young was out there, and they were talking. They asked him about suicide and how it was something that was a problem here in Alaska, and Don Young basically said when people kill themselves, it's because they don't have enough support from their friends and family. And one of the students, who was a really good friend with one of the kids, or the kid who had killed himself, stood up and made a big issue out of that. He confronted Young right there in front of everybody. He said, "That's not true. So-and-so, he had great friends." And so then Young kind of got in a sparring match with him, and they kind of got into a little bit of a argument. And some of the teacher who was there thought that it was that Don Young handled it poorly. And
well, what are you supposed to say? Because different. I've gone back and forth at different times on suicide for different things, and in different ways to explain it. It's not something that I have a whole lot of experience with, so I'm really kind of a novice at it.
My very good friend Curtis Smith, who's just such an amazing guy, really big heart, one of his really good friends killed himself. And I'm telling you, it devastated Curtis. It devastated him. And that's what suicide does. Those who are left behind are laden with guilt. I've personally never had a close friend kill themselves.
Because you can't resolve it. You can't go ask them, what can I do?
Yeah, you look back at your interaction but some people just don't open up. Some people don't let you in their world. Some people aren't honest about how they're feeling and don't allow you to help them with their struggles. And it's especially tough for family members. But you can't beat yourself up. It was their choice. It was their decision. And that's why suicide is such a devastating thing. A, it ends a life, and B, it leaves so much carnage behind, especially family members, especially close friends. I mean, if I came in here tomorrow and I found out you had killed yourself, that would just kill me. That would be devastating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care much about Bonnie.
I just wonder, if I don't know. I would think that people, when they're in that frame of mind, they're not able to think about what other people might go through afterwards.
That's probably not their yeah.
And I had a friend
it's more about what they're going through themselves.
Yeah, and I had a friend actually say we can't assume these things won't touch us.
744, Fagan Biegel Body.
I had a friend actually say we can't assume these things won't touch us.
744, Fagan Biegel Body.
Don't just sit there. Give them a call. 569-1080. Join the conversation. KOAN.
Today, I want to tell you a story. We'll call it The Tale of Two Charlies. The first Charlie you may already know. He's my dentist, Charlie Michael, and you often hear me tooting his horn. Like that. Charlie is a fine fellow and an exceptionally good dentist. The second Charlie is Charles Spaulding. Dr. Spaulding was born and raised in Alaska. He has excellent credentials and is considered one of the best in the field. In fact, I'd be happy to toot his horn, too. Now Dr. Spaulding, Charles, has joined Dr. Michael, Charlie, at Anchorage Dental Associates in Midtown. There, the two Charlies use the most advanced equipment, the latest techniques, and superior patient care with a professional and caring staff. So the moral of the story is, if you want and need a really good dentist, remember the tale of two Charlies, Dr. Charlie Michael and Dr. Charles Spaulding. Find them on the web at AnchorageDentalAssociates.com or call 276-7366.
It's said that character is what you do when no one is watching. If that's the case, then Senator Kathy Giesel has the sort of character that is needed in Juneau. Away from the photo ops or flashy media events, Kathy Giesel hits the books just like she did in nursing school. For the past 4 years, Senator Giesel has worked hard for you, studying the impact of greater access to immunizations for Alaska's kids, crafting legislation that frees up business owners to expand and hire more Alaskans, and working to improve the infrastructure like roads and schools, not just for this generation, but for generations of Alaskans to come. This election is more than just about promises or bullet points. It's about sending the right person to Juneau with the character to act on behalf of us when we can't watch. We need someone with the character to do the hard work when no one is watching, to make decisions we can trust. We need to re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel.
Paid for by re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel for Senate. 12701 Ridgewood Road, Anchorage, Alaska, 99516.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 10. The Talk of the Valley, KVNT.
.747 Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie, broadcasting to you live on KOAN, KVNT. Talking about the situation with Don Young yesterday, out in the valley. The story that as it was written by let's see who wrote this story. Who was the reporter? Oh, this is the Amanda Coyne thing. I'm looking for the ADN story. Oh, I think it's what's that gal out in the valley? I like her. I'm trying to think of her name. What is her name? What is her name? I know her. I could see her face. Oh well. Anyway.
Is it from the Frontier?
Zaz Holmes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's the Anchorage Daily News.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really think the story there was that much there. You know, Don Young's such an easy target, and basically the allegation is that he was kind of crude and used some flavorful language and didn't exhibit a lot of compassion.
It doesn't seem like to me he knew who he was talking to. You know, you go into a room full of kids and your demeanor should change a little bit from the norm.
I don't know. That's part of his charm, though. You know, he is who he is.
I don't think he's charming at all. I'm tired of him.
Are you?
I am. We need somebody to step it up and run against him next time.
John Parnell took him on.
Well, I think people are really sick of him now. But that's just me. I've been sick of him for a while.
I think there's fatigue. I saw his negatives are up in the 40s now. Or no, I'm sorry. That's not it. It's that Dunbar polled about 42%.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
I've told people this, and I'll tell them until it happens. If you don't think Forrest Dunbar is eventually, if we don't get rid of Don Young before it's too late, in other words, before he really has ruined the name of the Republican Party here in the state of Alaska, you're just wrong. Forrest Dunbar was raised in Alaska. He is pure Alaskan. He has been in the bush. He knows how to speak the language, and he was brought up, educated in some of the best debate schools in our world. He will out-debate just about anybody else. So if it's close, and we're trending, look, the state of Alaska keeps trending liberal, because I agree with Bonnie. I think we ship more and more liberals up here, and the Republican Party it just can't figure out what it believes or how to lead the state.
We will be a blue state before long.
I do worry about that, and I think with Young, especially with things like this, which are so, you have to realize Don Young, whether you like it or not, just like an athlete, is a representative of our culture, a representative of what's good, of what's true. Don Young is that guy too. And so he gets to go out to places like these high schools. He better say what he means, and he better say it well, because people take this stuff very seriously. Don Young is a serious business. He's not just some joker. He's not just an also was. He is the main man. He represents our whole state. And if he can't explain his position on suicide, he'd best shut his mouth. He'd best stop making mistakes like this, because frankly, I would be willing to bet you that 100% of the people who listen to him will not trust anybody who supports him, will not trust anything he ever says ever again. and will not trust any party who wraps themselves around him. He's dangerous to conservatism because he can't speak well, because he doesn't understand the current language that we use.
Have you ever
or
heard
where
him
these
speak?
kids are? Yeah, I've heard him speak a number of times.
I thought he was brilliant when I heard him speak.
He came to our school one time when I was in high school, and I was not impressed even then.
I've heard him speak, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times at luncheons or whatever, and I've always thought he's really good.
Well, he's very forceful. That's what you like.
He was so sarcastic. He was
he's
very
on your
sarcastic.
side. He's very sarcastic.
Yes.
Sure, yes.
He just came across as really pro-development, pro-free market,
yeah,
pro-free enterprise, and it just...
Yeah, but you can make your point. You know, if you have a good point, you can make your point without being sarcastic and making fun of the other side. And I don't know, it just diminishes his seriousness in my view.
Are you a woman scorned on Young, too?
I think so.
You just don't like Republicans.
I just am trying to hold them accountable. They need to do a better job.
Well, at some point, his life sentence to office in Washington, D.C. is going to come to an end. And if the Republican Party does not figure out that the game's up before the game's up, we'll have a Democrat in there. That's my view, and I believe it'll be Forrest Dunbar.
Yeah. I think the Parnell defeat, at a time when Sarah Palin was at 80% approval rating and backing Parnell, that pretty much shook off any future contenders in the Republican Party.
Any serious ones?
Any serious ones, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that
like
was
John
such
Cox,
a big,
by the way. I voted for him in the primary.
That was such a big win for Young.
Oh, it was huge.
Because he hadn't really had a formidable opponent prior to that.
And we didn't know which side of the Republican Party, the Washington side of the Republican Party or the Alaska side of the Republican Party, was going to win. And so that was the big debate about what went on there, because Sarah Palin and Sean Parnell, they basically had wrapped up all the people who look at the state of Alaska and the state Republican Party that, look, this is our standard bearer, versus the vast number of people who feed and feast and live off federal money, federal projects, federal power here in the state of Alaska. So it was a huge battle. If Sean Parnell, a friend of mine wrote some speeches for him, if he had read one of those speeches, either as an introduction or an exit on that one horrible debate that he had with Don Young, he would be our House member right now, and Don Young would have lost by 10 or 15 points.
You know, this morning I went back and looked at the last 8 governor's races and how they turned out. Very interesting. And this Walker thing is ingenious.
It is.
Because, you know, when you look at Knowles, when he beat Lindauer and Robin Taylor, only reason was they split the vote. And remember, Lindauer was, you know, he was literally corrupt.
Yeah.
They proved it during the election.
That turned out bad.
Oh, he was a disaster.
Yeah, he bought the primary, totally blew up the Republican election process. It was a terrible, terrible
so
day.
embarrassed.
Yeah, it's a really bad day.
Republicans have such a bad history up here.
And then, you know, you look at, you know, Palin won in a landslide, but she beat Knowles pretty soundly.
I thought she beat him by 10.
That's soundly to me.
55-45.
That's
for Tony Knowles, who was a
he
previous governor.
Yeah.
Right?
No. Well, he had gone 2 terms. Then he was out for 1 term during Murkowski.
But
then he ran again.
For having so much, you know, he had so much previous
he
experience.
had a lot of cachet.
And he was people considered him a pro-development governor.
Yeah.
I know true conservatives saw that he really wasn't, but the general population thought of him as pro-oil and gas and pro-development.
And he had his own trail. I mean...
Yeah, I had your own trail. How do you lose with your own trail?
That is true.
Coastal Trail.
Yeah, and then you look what, you know, happened with Parnell. I mean, you know, that was ugly. He just smoked Berkowitz.
Yeah. Well, what do you make of it though?
Well,
so
my point is the fact that here we've got this guy, Bill Walker, in Real Clear Politics today had the average lead that with all the polls, Walker's up by about an average of 4. There were 7 polls they cited. Only one Walker was up. Couple of the polls, only one Parnell was up. Couple of the polls, Walker was up as much as 9 points. And that was actually Rasmussen, who I think is very accurate. So it's just amazing that, you know, normally you can't win a statewide race unless there's 2 Republicans running against each other. But they finally figured it out. Get a guy in there who you can fool enough conservatives into thinking he's a conservative, and then you take 100% of the left.
Because they will vote for him.
They have to. And
Yeah.
then that's how you get rid of...
They're getting something, though.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's a good investment.
Yeah.
But that's the new model, You got to get a guy, the unity.
But it'll only work one time.
I don't know, Glenn. I mean, look, the general public did not, to this day, does not understand that the bipartisan coalition in the Senate spent us into oblivion. They still don't know that because the dispatch isn't going to tell them. And yet, now we're back doing the unity thing again, and it's going to the exact same thing. They're going to spend it like we're drunk sailors.
I don't think so. I don't. Why do you think this is the same thing as a unity ticket?
Well, what are you talking about?
The House and the Senate, they are the people who will decide what's in the budget.
Yeah.
The only time in state's history when we had a very positive battle that went on about the budget was when we had supermajorities of Republicans. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And Tony Knowles.
Yeah.
Who gave us a joke budget every single year.
Right.
$300 to $700 million in deficit. They're like, we're already out of money.
Yeah.
We want a serious proposal from you. He never gave one.
Right.
I expect the same thing to come up here.
Well, I hope so. So you think the Republican Party will stand up to big spending Walker and say,
I absolutely do. Because when you're challenged on your principles, and the Republican Party knows, the people who are in Juneau know, all right, look, we can't keep spending like this.
Let me ask you a question. Cause,
we got to cut.
Because when you were interviewing Fleener in here, you sounded like you were a big Walker supporter. If you go back and look at the tape, it was like, I was very confused by what you're saying there. What do you think is going to happen? What is Walker going to do? What's the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? I'll ask you that when we come back. We're also going to play this Palin clip, Palin Rumblegate. It's the audio is out, and it is quite compelling. Is that fair to say, Bonnie?
It is. I like it.
7:58.
Good entertainment.
Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie. Stay with us. Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie. Stay with us.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor, call us right away. 24/7, it's a pizza party day.
October is National Pizza Month. Just hearing the word pizza brings a smile to almost everyone's face. And Sicily's Pizza wants to make you smile 5 times as big with their National Pizza Month special. Get as many as 5 medium 2-topping pizzas for only $9.99 each. Whatever style you like. For fast delivery, call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's National Pizza Month special. 333-8000 or order online at SicilysPizza.com. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza. 333-8000.
Listen online at 1080KOAN.com. Hot Talk 95.1 FM, 1080 AM, KOAN.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Gunfire echoing through the halls of Canada's Parliament as police chased one shooting suspect, and now they say there may have been several shooting incidents in downtown Ottawa. Fox News Radio Steve Taylor has this live.
Outside the Canadian Parliament building,
we had a soldier standing guard at the National War Memorial who was shot, and then a gunman or a second gunman ran into our Parliament buildings.
Reporter Gord McDonald at the scene. Members of the Parliament say police have been exchanging shots with suspects inside. Police would not confirm reports that a shooter was killed. Canada's Prime Minister Stephen Harper was in the building but was rushed away. Shots were reported near an Ottawa hotel, but it's close to the War Memorial, so that may not be a separate incident. Lisa.
Steve, thanks. The CDC just announcing that anyone returning to the U.S. from West Africa will be monitored for 21 days for any possible signs of Ebola.
The bottom line here is that we have to keep up our guard against Ebola.
CDC Chief Dr. Thomas Frieden says he expects a steady stream of people with possible symptoms from the new monitoring and ramped up airport screenings who end up testing negative.
That's an example of the system working.
The U.S. had already limited West African flights to the 5 U.S. airports doing fever checks. A verdict just reached but not yet announced in the trial of 4 former Blackwater security guards charged in the shootings of more than 30 Iraqi citizens in Baghdad. One former guard charged with
before it's too late.
Various manslaughter counts. They are claiming self-defense, insisting there was incoming gunfire from insurgents and Iraqi police. Again, a verdict reached at that Blackwater trial, but not yet announced. Wall Street right now, stocks high 14 points. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
If you're looking for exhilaration, you found it. Whether cruising the road with a KOAN AM spy.
Skipping school to join ISIS. That's what investigators say 3 teenage girls from Denver, Colorado do, taking money from their parents, jumping on a plane, heading for Syria, only to be stopped in Frankfurt, Germany by the FBI. The girls, ages 15, 16, and 17, back in Colorado, reunited with their families.
The Blaze Radio's John DeMaster reporting. One man in isolation after flying into Newark's airport with Ebola-like symptoms. The man coming in from Brussels, traveling from Liberia to Brussels. The man...
to start or grow your business. It's the right business.
KMX.
Get hold of weapons airdropped by U.S.-led coalition forces meant for the Kurds fighting near Kobani, retired Major General Bob Scales.
It was about 2,000 pounds of material, and it included humanitarian aid, food, medical supplies, ammunition, and perhaps a few weapons. Not a big deal.
What is big, according to Scales, is the signal this sends to the rest of the Arab world.
That the American effort to run this campaign from the air is slipshod and it's not being effective, and that ISIS is able to stay in power.
Scales with Greta on
Obama's agenda. As our Attorney General, Dan Sullivan sued to stop Obamacare and defended our Second Amendment rights. As Alaska's DNR Commissioner, Sullivan stood down Obama's EPA.
This is Olympic cross-country skier Holly Brooks. Are you an adult who wants to help today's girls become tomorrow's leaders? Girl Scouts of Alaska is looking for volunteers. Lead a Girl Scout troop, coach a Lego robotics team, or present at a workshop. Parents, grandparents, college...
He'll protect life while fighting to repeal Obamacare. Dan Sullivan, strong leadership for Alaska.
I'm Dan Sullivan. I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Sullivan for U.S. Senate.
Here's my good friend, Keith Monternock.
Automotive repairs can be frustrating. Let me help. Call 349-1637. I have been in business for nearly 20 years at the same location. Specialty Truck and Auto is in South Anchorage behind the Long Branch Saloon where Diamond becomes Abbott. I have 6 ASE certified technicians working from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. I have a voucher for any of the 6 Alaska Laser Wash locations for each customer. If you schedule ahead and need a ride when you drop your vehicle off, I may be able to help. Call Specialty Truck and Auto, 349-1637.
When Malarkey Mark Begich ran for U.S.
Your authorized Amana dealer. Amana lasts and lasts and lasts.
Things wouldn't come to light before the election. But now, history is caught up with Malarkey Mark. Under Begich, Anchorage taxes went up 27%. Under Begich, the city budget ballooned, a $142 million increase in spending. Under Begich, the city was saddled with unprecedented 5-year union contracts. Under Begich, a deficit of over $20 million was left for the next mayor to deal with. Begich left Anchorage in serious trouble. Alaska's Energy, America's Values paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Fagan and Biegel in the morning on the Talk of the Valley, KVNT 92.5 FM.
6 minutes past 8 o'clock. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie on KOAN, KVNT, our number 569-1080. I ran into Dr. Myron Schweigert yesterday, and he's operates the Chugach Chiropractic Clinic, and my goodness, he's a good guy. I love talking to him. He's very very wise man, very skilled at what he does, and what he does is help you live a healthy, happy, fulfilling, pain-free life. Chugach Chiropractic, they have so many methods and ways of helping you live a healthier life. It's all natural solutions. So many times these days, the medical community will tell you you got to go under the knife, but no, there are other options also. And if you go see Dr. Schweigert and his team at Chugach Chiropractic, you'll see what I mean. His number 694-9224, 694-9224. Dr. Schweigert out at Chugach Chiropractic. Our number 569-1080. Shots fired in a Canadian Parliament building this morning. I know you just heard that on the national news. Multiple gunmen opened fired, shooting at least one soldier, sprayed as many 30 shots inside the government building. This is, of course, just 2 days after the attack in Quebec. So we'll be giving you updates on the hour all day here on KOAN and KVNT as details become available. I asked Glenn before the break. I think Bonnie accused him of being a closet Bill Walker supporter.
Oh, no.
And so my question to you, Glenn, is what's the worst case scenario under Bill Walker? What's the best case scenario under Bill Walker? Assuming he wins.
Well, and to clarify, he was a Walker supporter at one time.
Actually, I think because my head exploded when he told me that.
Yeah.
We were at Sullivan's and people were looking at us like, what is with that dude over there? I'm not exaggerating.
No, yeah,
we were sitting in the bar at Sullivan's.
It was a very animated conversation.
And I said, something that you said, I'm going to vote for Bill Walker for governor. And I just, you got that? I was like, what? And then, yeah.
Well, this is well before he was the Unity ticket candidate, had Malott on his ticket. He'd walked away from his pro-life credentials, walked away from marriage, he walked away for equality, for access to our resources, fishing and so forth. He's walked away from Pebble. He's
joined hands with Beltrami.
Joined hands with Beltrami. Obviously, Tom Begich, Mark Begich's brother, is one who put this ticket together. Alice Rogoff, we know, was at some meetings. So obviously, there were a lot of things that I, just like everybody else, kind of hoped for, and thought, well, I think he's got a pretty good handle on what to do for a guest.
Well, let me ask you this before you give us your best case and your worst case.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a Backbone rally?
No.
Oh, my goodness. See, that's a big deal.
Yeah. I've watched a little bit of them, and those people are absolutely crazy.
That's Bill Walker.
What is a Backbone rally?
Backbone is this Wally Hickel, Malcolm Roberts, Bill Walker, Vince Beltrami group.
And Bill Walker spoke at these things, or what?
He's the heart of it.
The heart of it.
And I'm telling you, when they get up and start talking about the oil industry, they are drooling with hatred.
Wow.
Eddie Burke's another one.
Yeah. He hit all that stuff for me very, very well, because I never got the sense of this at all.
The day I left Sarah Palin, as far as supporting her, was when she spoke at the Backbone rally during the campaign. I mean, these people get up there, and they make the oil industry, they think the oil industry makes Al-Qaeda and ISIS look like Boy Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
They loathe the oil industry in a way that you can't even begin to understand. And it's just one after another. And Bill Walker's right in the heart of that.
Mm.
So that's who he is. He's a part of that movement. So anyway, that's very telling to me that you've never been to one of these rallies. I've been to about 4 of them.
Yeah, and did you hear him speak?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, he's right there in it.
What would he say?
Bob and Mark, same thing.
No, I totally got Bob and Mark.
Oh,
yeah,
just
and
the oil industry's taking advantage of us. They're pillaging the land. That we're a colony of the oil industry, and it's Alaska's. It's our oil.
Mm-hmm.
How dare they take their huge profits overseas. And, I mean, the whole thing. You know,
well, that's good. See, and a lot of the stuff, you know, I knew Bill Walker from talking with him several times and having him on my show several times.
Now, you understand he's not going to preach that message on a conservative talk show.
Well, it should be up to me, though, to know enough of the background, and that really speaks to a failure of mine. So I'm embarrassed.
Well, I mean, you work 10 hours a day already, plus the show, so it's not like you can...
But still, that's my job.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and if I can't do that job, then I definitely failed in that. But this is the best case, worst case scenario. First of all, just a little bit of background on where we're headed. We are out of money. We're out of easy money. We're just out of money.
How can you say that?
$2.5 billion is what we're going to be short
this year.
Yeah.
How much do we have in the bank?
Probably about $14 billion we could use.
No, but there's $80 billion that we have.
Well,
so
they're going to go after the permanent fund.
Yeah, but it's there. Well, I mean, it's pretty hard to say we're out of money when we got $80 billion in the bank.
Well, no, I said we're out of easy money.
Okay.
Yeah, we're out of easy money. The easy options, we're just going to kick this can a little bit further down the road. The third rail of Alaskan politics, the third rail of federal politics is Social Security. If the Republicans even hint that they're thinking about going after the permanent fund, Alice Rogoff will light up this state.
So what are we
coming after? Okay, so anyway, the easy money's done.
Make sure I'm clear. So how much are we spending that we don't have this year?
$2.5 billion. If oil stays around $85 a barrel on average,
okay.
which look, it hasn't stayed there. Yeah. It just got there.
Right.
You know, we're not doomsday scenario.
If it goes back up to 110.
Oh yeah. Oh, if it went back up to 110, we'd actually be in pretty.
And how much do we have in the bank outside of the permanent fund?
They have money in different accounts.
I know, but doesn't the CBR have like 18, 20 billion?
No, because they moved $3 billion out. Okay. I think it went from 14 to 11, and I think there's $3 billion they can get another account. So I know that there's 17 billion sort of left in the accounts, but some of that they can't get. My take on it is they can get between 12 and 14.
Deficit spending $2 billion. So we can continue to deficit spend for at least 5, 6, 7 years. But that's not out of money.
Maybe 5 years.
Well, no, I mean it's 10. I mean we're not out of money. How can you say?
Yeah.
That?
Well, this is what my take on it is that all throughout the last year, every conversation I've had with every legislator, every time I've asked them the question, do you understand what a sustainable budget is? The only person who wouldn't answer that question is Gabrielle Ledoux.
Okay. Gabrielle Ledoux.
Yeah. But every other legislator said, I understand we are not going to spend this much money.
Okay, but
we're going to have to cut.
If we spent $2 billion that we don't have, but yet we took that $3 billion and paid down PERS and TERS.
That was in addition.
Yeah, but
PERS and TERS doesn't count.
Yeah, it does. That's a part of the extra $2 billion.
Mm-mm. It's not in part of the $2 billion deficit.
So then we spent $5 billion that we don't have.
Yeah, well, we moved $3 billion from one savings account to another.
Okay,
from the CBR over to our reserve account that is meant to pay off our public employees.
Bottom line is a deficit is what you spend over what you took in.
Yes, and that will be $2.5 billion if oil stays where it is now.
But you're saying the $3 billion wasn't a part of that.
$3 billion is just moving money from one account to the other.
$5.5 billion.
We didn't spend the $3 billion. We moved it from one account to the other. It's not an income and an expense.
Gotcha.
It's an asset.
8:14. We're going to play the Palin clip next because we want Bonnie to be a part of it when she's here. She's going to have to leave early. 8:14. Stay with it. Because we want Bonnie to be a part of it when she's here. She's going to have 14. Stay with it.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel. Give them a call. 569-1080. KOAN.
Trail Boss Solutions is your local award-winning, nationally recognized.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor. Call us right away. 24/7. It's a pizza party day.
October is National Pizza Month. Just hearing the word pizza brings a smile to almost everyone's face. And Sicily's Pizza wants to make you smile 5 times as big with their National Pizza Month special. Get as many as 5 medium 2-topping pizzas for only $9.99 each. Whatever style you like. For fast delivery, call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's National Pizza Month special. 333-8000 or order online at SicilysPizza.com. Best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza. 333-8000.
In Washington, Mark Begich has voted with Barack Obama 97% of the time, adding trillions to the national debt, casting the protecting Obama's executive amnesty for illegal immigrants. Alaska needs a General Dan Sullivan sued to stop Obamacare and defend.
And I would appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Crawford for Alaska, Anchorage.
Being a business owner isn't easy. There's managing people, customers, income, expenses, unexpected issues, growing your brand, and so much more. Ready to be more efficient in everything you do? Then listen to Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Each week, David gives you the inside scoop on the latest business news and trends, along with tools for keeping your business on track. Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. on Hot Talk, KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 a.m. Hot Talk, KOAN, man.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m. on the Talk of the Valley, KVNT.
All right, here we go. 8:17. Hold on to your hats. Palin Brawl. What do you call it, Glenn?
Rumblegate.
Rumblegate.
Or Slugfest.
But you got to have the word Palin in there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Palin Gate.
To me, this is a commentary on life in America. Not the fact that it's Palin makes it a little more interesting, but there's a lot more to learn about it just than maybe that her family might drink a little too much when they're celebrating Dad's 50th birthday.
Just so you'll know, the police released the audio of the tape recordings that the police made interviewing the guests at the Palin Brawl party. I took a bunch of the interviews that they did with Bristol and Willow, and Sarah was there too, and I condensed it. It was about a 23-minute clip down to about 4 minutes. You're going to hear a lot of bunt, 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 and every time you hear bunt, just think F-bomb or many other assortment of curse words.
Yeah, some worse.
Yeah, so just so you know, this is the clip. It is edited for content. Obviously, we had to. What you're going to hear first is Willow being interviewed by the police officer. You're going to hear Sarah getting upset about people leaving the scene without being arrested. You're going to hear Bristol eventually come on and starting to get interviewed by the police officer. And then I'm going to let Glenn and Bonnie comment on it. I have a conflict of interest. I have bitterness in my heart, so I can't. I can't comment on it. I don't have bitterness in my heart, but it could resurrect if I let it. So I'm going to let them comment. Here's the clip.
Can I talk to Bristol? Yeah.
Bristol, I want to talk to you. Come on. What? Him.
Okay, sorry.
Seriously, this Corey with the red shirt. I don't know anybody there. Bristol down on the
Bristol,
ground.
you injured?
Don't cuss, Willow.
Punch me in the
Was he the
face?
guy with the camo hat? He was with the red shirt.
All I remember is the red shirt. I don't remember anything else. Going after the girls.
Pushing girls to the ground. That's what I'm not.
Bristol, do you need medics?
Bristol, don't have funny, please. No, she is mentally hurt. She's not physically. She's mentally.
Go ahead.
When this Bristol, listen. When this 30-year-old mom, watch out. When this 30-year-old guy's pushing her to the ground and calling her a slut, you fucking slut. Seriously, this guy's crazy. What he be doing pushing girls around though?
He's drunk.
I know.
Hold on. I've had altercations with him in the past.
Did he beat up his girlfriend or his wife?
That part I can't speak of, but I know that I watched him get in a fight with my friend before.
Honestly, Bristol walked up to him. Why would you push my little sister?
So for no reason he pushed Bristol.
No, he pushed his
you.
The old woman pushed me for no reason.
So then Bristol stepped in to protect you.
Why would you push my little sister? And he comes back with, "You can slut, get out of here. You can slut."
Hold on.
I know.
I talked to them. They were all inside.
No,
that was one of the guys.
This is what we don't understand. Is why do those guys get to go?
That was one of the guys. I'm talking to every car that comes by.
You know what? He's one of the guys who jumped my son
I'm trying to make my way up to Corey's. I'm trying to get my way up to Corey's.
I don't understand why a girl can get jumped for no reason. Why would you let that guy go away?
I got their info. I got them already.
But really, come on now.
There's 30 people.
Okay, but one of them, anyone in the whole already, that's one of them, and you let him go.
I'm trying to make my way up to court.
Okay, but you're trying to make him wait when he leaves. So how are you trying when he leaves? Why am I still here when I have my little 5-year-old in the car? I want to go. She got beat to the ground. Seriously, she got beat to the ground, and you're just going to let him go away. I don't understand how this works either. Honestly, Bristol, I don't know. When we see how it works, it's some guys pushing me to the ground, calling me a I don't know, but I have a 5-year-old in the car, so if you're going to question me, let's question me. Honestly, why did you let
Do you want to talk to me now? I tried to talk to you. Come talk to me away from your family. Come talk to me right here.
What do you want to talk about?
Tell me what happened.
Some guy pushed me down on the ground and was dragging me by my feet. I'm going to talk.
I said one at a time.
Okay, but listen,
Willow,
she came up.
You can go stand right there. I'll come talk to you. Let me talk to Bristol. Let me get Bristol's side.
Came up too.
Bristol, tell me what happened.
My little sister comes up to me and said, some old lady just pushed me. She just hit me.
Okay.
Oh, hell no. No one's going to touch my sister.
Where was this at?
So we were in the limo. I walked back up. Did you push my sister? And some guy gets in my face, pushes me down on the grass, drags me across the grass. You slut, you miss. I get back up. He pushes me down on the grass again and pulls me by my feet. And he's the one that's leaving. And I have my 5-year-old. They took my $300 sunglasses. They took my fucking shoes. And I'm just left here.
Okay. Where are you injured at?
My knees, my face. Where's my... I have a 5-year-old in the car.
Where was the limo at when your sister
right
came
here.
and got you? So your sister came down and got you from the limo that was parked right here.
Yeah.
You went back up to the house.
I was closer to the house, yeah.
Okay. And when you got up there, you approached this 60-year-old.
I don't know how old she was.
Okay.
Some
An
lady
older
with
lady.
gray hair.
Okay.
Who wants to push my my 20-year-old sister.
Okay.
I'm gonna defend my sister.
And then
She's
a guy
20
came
years
out of
old.
nowhere and pushed
a
you
guy
on the
comes
ground.
out of nowhere and pushes me on the ground, takes me by my feet in my dress, in my thong dress, in front of everybody. Come on, get the fuck out of here. Come on, you slut, get the fuck out of here. I don't know this guy. I've never seen this guy in my life.
Okay.
I swear to God on my Down syndrome brother's life.
Oh,
Brian, have you ever, I know Glenn and Bonnie probably haven't, but have you ever seen the show Cops?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I have seen that?
You get kids. Well, because that was my thought. It was an episode of Cops.
Yeah.
Close?
Yeah, it was just a hectic, chaotic scene, and they were trying to make sure everybody else was interviewed if they were getting picked on, and I don't know.
Brian, do you see a lot of this stuff go on at the club? Because you're kind of in
I
that
was going to
scene.
say, this
Brian works at Joe.
This whole thing happens every day.
Yeah.
Everywhere,
right.
all over the place.
Right. Does it surprise you, or nothing really surprises you anymore?
No, I feel like that they were just probably put into this corner because of who they are, and it's even more intense on them, and I don't think they went in trying to cause any problems, and something happened to them.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
I don't think they went there. I think Bristol at one point was out for blood. When you hear the accounts of her marching across the lawn looking to kick someone's ass.
There's a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if somebody hurt your sister, wouldn't you try to confront them?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know if I'd confront them that forcefully, especially if they're an old woman with gray hair.
Yeah, well, Glenn, you got a thought? Glenn, I'll tell you, there's nothing more
couldn't have
classic.
said that more often.
There's nothing more classic than watching Glen Biegel's face. Because that's the second time we played the clip in the 6 o'clock hour. And Glenn's face, he's literally jolted every time there's an F-bomb dropped.
Oh, yeah, you should see the video from the 6 o'clock hour when I played it, both Glenn and Bonnie.
Yeah. They're just, you're not, because I know, Glenn, in your household, you don't allow that kind of language.
This is what first of all, I agree with you. I don't know that much good can come out of this. This is just such a rotten situation. But this is what I get. Who is it that walked across the lawn and got pushed down?
That was Bristol. Well, no, Willow was pushed by an old lady.
Yeah.
And then, and then Bristol was out for blood because she wanted to go fight the old lady. And then that's where the owner of their home stood between the old lady and Bristol. And so Bristol, apparently, according to witnesses, hit the dude 5 times. And eventually, he said his face began to swell, so he pushed her to the ground to stop her. Then someone grabbed her, according to witnesses, and pulled her away from him.
Yeah.
And her account was, I had a dress on and all that stuff.
I'm not familiar with that level of falsity. she gave such a false account of this that it really is shocking to me that she doesn't understand that she hit someone several times in his face, which she admitted to later. Even though she started completely lying, and then she sort of walked her way a little bit back closer to the truth.
The way they acknowledged it was, they said, well, it never made contact with his face, her punches.
That was her view of it.
That was the later acknowledgement.
Well, look, she obviously is so drunk. Maybe she just not even, time is not really working for her, and that she doesn't understand. But this is total embarrassment. I can imagine the Palins just hate this. I do get the sense that they circled the wagons pretty quick. Like the 60-year-old lady probably said, your sister has really got a dirty mouth, and I'm sick of it, and whatever it is, because obviously these guys are pretty free and loose with their tongues and their ugly, their ugly talk, and that probably escalated. But that they look like they're ready to basically jump in for their family just about at any time in kind of a violent way, which is basically what happened here.
Well, they've been through so much together. They've been attacked by so many different people on so many different levels. You would have to either it would destroy you as a family and everybody would go their separate ways, or you would have to unite and say, anybody touch anybody, we're going to stand back and we're going to, as a family, fight and get back and make sure that we as a unit protect each other.
Which is a little, it's admirable in some ways. It's totally understandable in some ways. But honestly, I really think you should let the authorities sort of handle it. If somebody did push your sister and harmed her, well, guess what? That's assault, and you get that taken care of. And, the police come and they take people's statements, and you say, I was here. I watched them push my sister. I went and got my sister away from there so she wasn't in danger anymore. And then I called you, and here you are. Go talk to that lady. Here's our story. We're ready to give you all the information.
Well,
that's how you deal with it. You don't go by trying to kick somebody's A.
The Palins were not the only ones drunk here. I mean, I think a majority of the people were.
Point.
And it does sound like that there was so many other brawls going on too.
And even the owner of the company admitted that he had some of his employees there that didn't know the Palins and they were drunk. So if they got in a fight with Track, and it's just all big.
There was multiple brawls going on.
There were 3 brawls at the same time. Is that basically
2?
What was going on?
Right.
Todd was involved in one. Track was involved in another.
Well,
and
that's
then
one. That's one.
Well, and people
that's one.
People weren't wanting to talk about it at all. Nobody was wanting to talk about it because there was so much wrongdoing on all the parts.
All right, Bonnie. What do we learn from this? Is there anything of any value to learn here other than people use when they're drunk, apparently, in the Palin family in particular? They use horrible language in front of police all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's disappointing to me because I keep wanting to put these people up on a pedestal and believe everything that comes out of Sarah Palin's mouth, and it sounds so good, and then you have something like this, and it just decreases their worth, I guess.
Their credibility.
Yeah, their credibility. I don't know. It's sad all around.
We used to not know all that much about our celebrities.
I need some aspirin after all that.
So we could put them on a pedestal, and it wasn't that hard to do, and we just know everything about everybody now. So it is hard.
I'm going to go take a couple Advil because my head hurts from all the screaming.
All right, Glenn and I will be back. Bonnie's taking off. We're going to get Glenn's answer on best case scenario, worst case scenario, assuming Bill Walker is elected governor. 8:29, Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie.
Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
Local news brought to you by Jansen Funeral Homes, Jansen's Evergreen Memorial Chapel, Jansen's Alaska Cremation Center, and Jansen's Eagle River Funeral Home. Jansen Funeral Homes, where just like family, they're there when you need them.
With KOAN News, I'm Chuck White. Anchorage health officials are conducting a survey on homelessness in the city. They say they want some numbers about how many people here are homeless and help better form a 5-year plan aimed at solving the local problem. 27 people have applied for the Adjutant General job of the Alaska National Guard. The finalist will replace Thomas Catkin, who was asked to resign amid allegations the Guard's permits sexual assault. A reality show set in Matsu premieres next week. And as Ann Kenda explained, it's controversial.
Sled Next, which will air on MTV, tells the story of close-knit millennials having adventures in rural parts of Wasilla. Some critics have already come out against it, saying the show portrays Wasilla residents as hillbillies always looking for a brawl.
That's your Hot Talk News update. Local weather is next.
Sunny much of the time today, high 38. Tonight mainly clear, low 28. Tomorrow sunshine and some clouds, high 34. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 22. Friday, intervals of clouds and sunshine, high 34. Saturday, plenty of sunshine, high 35. Hot Talk breaking news and the latest weather, KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Hey folks, this is Chris and Brock from Beer Show. Make sure to listen to us every Saturday at 5 p.m. on 95.1 and 1080 KOAN.
The Beer Show is brought to you proudly every single week by Humpy's Great Alaska Nail House, Brown Jug Alaska, Great Artisan Beverages, and the Odom Corporation. Always drink responsibly.
6976.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Some of your favorite fruits and vegetables may be covered with toxic pesticides. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. Pesticides are making their way inside our grocery stores. In fact, get this. It's estimated people unknowingly eat up to 10 different pesticides every day. There's no conclusive answer as to what the potential health impact is, but some say we are eating more than ever, and these toxins can cause birth defects, potentially cancer. Organic items are mostly pesticide-free, so peaches, celery, berries, apples, and lettuce are all good candidates for you to eat organic. Also, check the prices. Organic items aren't always more expensive. But here is something important. You don't always have to go organic. Items like pineapple, watermelon, corn on the cob, you can peel off their outer layer, which is where most of the pesticides live. Good rule of thumb is if you don't buy organic, peel it first and then wash it. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Did you know up to 1 in 5 Americans will get the flu this year? Because less than half of us get vaccinated? You didn't know? That's okay. We do. Rite Aid has certified immunizing pharmacists at the ready to discuss your risks, answer your questions, and shield you from what you don't know. So get your flu shot, no appointment necessary, at Rite Aid today. With us, it's personal. Flu vaccines available while supplies last. Age restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacist for details.
How do you know the used car you're getting is good? One you can really trust? Well, start with KDB.com's most trusted car brand, backed by an extensive limited warranty, and you've got yourself a certified pre-owned Honda. So get going while the getting is good. Find the one that's right for you at HondaCertified.com. See your Honda dealer for limited warranty details. Based on 2013 Brand Image Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for information.
When I grow up, I want to be a pro basketball player.
An elementary school teacher.
No matter what dream you choose or where you are in life, Country Financial helps you and your family grow your own way.
Or maybe a veterinarian.
A mom, a doctor, and president of the United States. Maybe an astronaut or, an Olympic gymnast.
You can grow your own way. We know some dreams take a little longer to achieve, which is why your local Country Financial representative offers helpful advice on everything. From auto and home insurance to financial planning, education to retirement, and business insurance too, so that you can continue to grow and dream.
Or maybe an accountant, like my dad.
For more information, visit countryfinancial.com or call 1-866-COUNTRY. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Glen Biegel, you have beautiful teeth.
Why, thank you, Dan Fagan. That's because my family and I have gone to Dr. Dan Kiley for years.
I get scared at the dentist.
Dr. Kiley knows people like you are afraid, so he creates a relaxed atmosphere at his office. People actually like going to the dentist for Dr. Kiley.
I know it's important to have good dental health.
And you look better with good teeth. And Dr. Kiley offers cosmetic dentistry along with general care.
Visit Dr. Dan Kiley at lakeotisdental.com. Call him at 562-9209.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
Welcome back. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel. Bonnie Cameron is taking the rest of the morning off. Our number 569-1080, 569-1080. My good friend Keith Montanak, what a great guy. Specialty Truck and Auto, has been in business a long time. The best auto mechanic in the state, bar none. Reliable, dependable, trustworthy. Keith Montanak has a great location if you live anywhere in South Anchorage, lower, upper hillside. If you want to drop your car off and have Keith's crack staff work on it, he can most times get you a ride back to work. He's full service, man. He's all about customer service. That's how he's built his business into such a success. Specialty Truck and Auto, right across the street from the Long Branch Saloon off of Abbott. Here's the telephone number. You ready? 349-1637. 349-1637. So, Glenn, there's a real possibility that we could get a new governor here on November 4th. Real Clear Politics has Parnell trailing in six of the 7 major polls. One pollster, Rasmussen, who's pretty accurate, has Walker up by 9.
Wow.
Only one of them has Parnell up. I think the average is about 4.5% lead for Walker if you take all the polls and put them together. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but let's just operate under the scenario we get a Bill Walker governor. What's the worst case scenario for what we know about Walker that could happen, and what's the best case scenario?
All right. Well, worst case scenario is what I've heard, which is the Democrats get several what are they called? Commissioners. Yeah, several commissioner seats, and are an integral part. Just 2 Democrats ruined the Palin administration. Gave us aces, gave us a GIA. Just 2.
Marty Rutherford, Pat Galvin.
Yeah, just 2. And that's huge to know that there could be 4.
They're very powerful positions
given to they help shape policy. I mean, let's just be honest. So the worst case scenario, I think, is probably the most likely scenario. For
example, like a Hollis French DNR commissioner, something like that.
Yeah,
just be devastating.
Absolutely. DNR commissioner. If the Democrats get to pick who the DNR commissioner is, God only knows. There will be no coal.
No.
The mining will be really up a creek in a very literal sense. Other than if you're on native land, then you'll be fine. But if you're Wait, and I say that very advisedly, by the way. Donlin Creek is getting a totally different. Anyway, so let me go back to worst case. So that's the worst case scenario is what we're likely to see in the state government offices, which is Democrats essentially run things. Walker is more of a figurehead. That's kind of what I expect. He's essentially given up most of his positions already. I expect that to continue. So let's go to the legislature and the budget, because those are different.
Right.
The running of government, we're probably likely to get the worst case scenario. I don't even know what a best case scenario would be. Walker essentially takes them a lot, says, get out of my office. I'm not interested. He takes away all the positions. He appoints pro-development, limited government people, which he may not even believe in.
This is the best case scenario.
Yeah, but I don't see that as likely. So let's go best case, worst case on the budget. Best case is the Republicans hold that they increase their numbers.
As they did under Knowles.
Yeah, as they did under Knowles, and that what they decide is not what I think the media is going to push them to, which is to say, listen, Republicans, this is a purple state. You'd better get on board. You'd better figure out how to be a partner with government, have government be a partner with business, how to increase the size and power of government, and make sure that they make this state fair, or you're going to be gone. Now, if that's the message they get, we're headed for worst case, because then we're going to have bipartisan coalitions. Gary Stevens, who's really a Democrat, he'll switch parties. Bert Stedman, gone. Who knows what? I hear Click Bishop is fairly solid. I mean, but that he could go too. There aren't that many Republicans out there.
No.
Who are solid.
Pro-union.
McGuire, another one. Exactly. So anyway, the worst case scenario is bipartisan coalition. I shudder to think. They'll be going after the permanent fund absolutely in haste. Now, here's what they'll try to get you to do. Well, let me do best case scenario. Best case scenario is They see the Walker administration essentially as they saw the Knowles administration. They being the supermajority of Republicans in the House and Senate. We believe in limited government. We know that the future of the state of Alaska is in our private sector, is in our resource development, and it is shepherding and harvesting the vast amounts of wealth that Alaska has for the benefit of her people. So the best case scenario is they go ahead and cut government, and all they do, and this is fairly likely, by the way, all they do is keep playing clips of the governor saying, I've got to cut the budget 16%. Then they'll come back and say, here's the budget you said you would give us when you were running for office, regardless of what Vince Beltrami wants and the NEA wants. Here's that budget.
Now, let me throw a kick in the wrench. If we already know Alice Rogoff is a supporter of the unity ticket, so she's going to have a bully pulpit prepared for Walker, just like Palin did. When Palin went after the oil industry, Daily News loved her. It wasn't until she started calling Obama a terrorist or palling around with terrorists that they turned on her. So even though the Republicans will try to fight Walker and try to keep the budget sensible and reasonable, it's going to be 2 against 1. Won't it? It'll be the governor and the media saying the Republicans are cold-hearted, they hate kids.
Yeah. Well, but the Republicans will come back and say they're after your permanent fund.
Yeah.
They are going to take that from you. They are going to put an income tax on the state of Alaska, and we are not going to do that. We will not let that happen. We're going to stand up to them, and it's not going to be easy. And people are going to keep coming and asking us for stuff that we won't be able to fund. We're going to figure out how to do the best we can with the least amount of money, and that's where we're headed. And that is their vision. That is their platform. That's who they are. So
now let's talk about the pipeline.
Yeah.
What will happen if Walker's elected with the pipeline?
He has to. A number of things have to happen for anything good to happen. He has to drop his lawsuit
against Point Thompson.
About Point Thompson. That has to be dropped immediately. Right. Otherwise, 1,000 Alaskans lose their jobs. Because obviously, if you're going to have a governor suing you to stop a settlement that you've already started developing, you just can't have people working there. There's no permanence there.
Will he try to revisit SB 21 and try to raise taxes? You don't think so?
No, because that would allow the Republicans to say, you lied to us again, and it would reduce his credibility in the public.
He's got Rogoff backing him up.
I know, but I don't think it's enough.
You know, he's so similar to Sarah Palin in philosophy.
And if he was on the backbone
he's all about
platform,
that.
Yeah, he is. He's got a real problem with the oil companies making a profit in Alaska.
And that's what he's always been about. The oil companies are taking advantage of Alaskans. It's the old Wally Hickle message. You know, we're enslaved to them. I can't imagine him not going after them. I can't imagine him not raising taxes on them.
He can't.
Within the first 2 years.
He can't.
But, you know, you got the bully pulpit. Here's what you got now. Think about it. You got the McGuires and the weak Republicans. You got Alice Rogoff. Look at these shills of big oil. Remember, that's what they called Ralph Samuels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'll be, the real the Kevin Myers show. He works for Conoco, so he's negated. Of course, he won't give him it'll be a battle. And I agree. I think the Republicans will probably win that battle because most Alaskans don't want us to tax ourselves out of investment. But it'll be interesting.
It is look, this is going to be a real ideological, political battle where the Democrats have a lot more power than they have had in a long time in the state of Alaska.
Well, it's the anti-oil populist movement joining hands with the left.
And some conservatives who really believe that this guy is the words that he's been saying.
844, Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie, 569-1080 is our number.
Been saying.
844, Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie, 569-1080 is our number.
Don't just sit there. Give them a call. 569-1080. Join the conversation. KOAN.
You live in Alaska, so it's cold, and it's going to get colder. That's why you need an award-winning heating company to keep you and your family warm all winter. You need Moore Heating. Moore Heating is Anchorage's premier Lennox dealer. They can provide you with the best pricing on all Lennox equipment and installation, including the Lennox 97% efficient GWM boiler, the best, most efficient product of its kind on the market. And Lennox high-efficiency boilers offer one of the best warranties on the market with 10 years warranty on parts. And this month, right now, Moore Heating is offering a 10-year warranty on labor as well. So whether you need a new filter for your furnace, a new wood stove for your home or cabin, or information on an entirely new energy-efficient heating system, you need Moore Heating. Stop by and ask about this month's special, 1801 Dowling Road, or call 561-1500. In the Valley, 376-1500. Remember the name, Moore Heating, because it's going to get colder.
Paid for by More for Alaska, Anchorage.
Taking pride in work when it comes from the heart. Doing your best and staying the course even in tough times. There are Alaskans who still understand the value of service and sacrifice. Matt Moore is one of those. Someone who knows that paying your dues should come before office and power. That leadership, wielded by inexperienced and self-interested hands, can be destructive.
This is Matt Moore. Lance Pruitt is proud of his record. A record of not fully funding education. Budget deficits that put our permanent fund at risk. And supporting mega projects we can't afford. My father once told me, whatever you choose to do it well. That's the way our country was. The way I'd like to see it be again. Where pride in work comes from actually doing an honorable it ought to be.
Matt Moore, a legislator we can be proud of.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give him a call, 569-1080. KOAN.
$8:47. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel. Our poll question of the day: would you rather be killed by Don Young or hit in the face 5 times by Bristol Palin? Go to danfagan.us. Let us know what you think.
How do you decide on that?
I think I'd rather take 5 punches from.
Nah, I'd want to be killed by Young.
You'd like that?
After the 4th one, you'd start to feel it swell.
That's right.
I feel it swelling.
569-1080. Our friend Les Garrett, state representative's on the phone. How are you, sir?
Good, Dan. How you doing?
I'm well.
Hey, it's easy to talk about the gas line in terms of a snippet. You get a gas line, you don't get a gas line, but the devil's in the details. And what a lot of people aren't talking about is the provision I tried to take out of the bill. And, this is just a negotiations law right now, and I've called on the governor to negotiate this provision out. But we pay TransCanada's first $300 million, basically, through phase 1.
$300 million?
It's basically, that's what TransCanada is going to pay for the first phase if the thing starts sort of hobbling forward.
Okay.
And then if there's no project, we eat that money. We owe TransCanada that $300 million.
And this is under the agreement negotiated by the Parnell.
Yeah, this is under the Parnell proposal.
And this is outside of AGIA, right? This is new.
Right. This is a new Parnell deal.
Gotcha.
That we've told TransCanada, look, we'll pay your cost if this project doesn't go forward. That's $300 million that we're putting.
Okay.
Then, on top of that, we guarantee them a 7% profit. We say, we'll give you all of the money you put into the thing if it goes belly up, and plus we'll give you 7% on top of that, which is a really good rate of return. It's like we're taking the risk and giving TransCanada the reward.
Well, let me ask you.
There's some warts in this deal.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Bill Walker will be right to fix some of the warts in this deal.
Well, let me ask you, because I'm not familiar with the intricacies of the deal as you are. You say the first $300 million we guarantee, but certainly TransCanada will take a risk past that. It's not like the project's going to cost $300 million. So you're not saying that TransCanada has no risk.
They basically have no risk at the point where we're not sure if the pipelines are going to work, right? This is just sort of a proposal that nobody knows if it's going to work, right? During the period where it's just a proposal and everybody's spending money, TransCanada will spend about $300 million. If at that point, the thing that Parnell negotiated says, if at that point everybody says this isn't a deal, the state of Alaska, the people of Alaska, will owe TransCanada all of the money they put into that first phase.
Up to $300 million.
It's estimated to be about $300 million, and on top of that, not just give them that money, but then pay them 7% as profit on top of that money.
That's if the line goes.
We wouldn't be paying 7% return. The state of Alaska doesn't own the gas once it gets into a pipeline.
Well, there is no pipeline. This is just the sort of pre.
So what is the 7% on? I guess I'm a little confused.
The thing Parnell negotiated says as they're exploring whether this thing is going to work, and TransCanada is estimated to spend about $300 million on that thing.
But where's the 7% profit coming from?
You take the money that TransCanada paid, and then you give them 7% on top of that. That's what Parnell.
So they put in $20 billion in order to build the pipeline, because pipelines historically across the country return 12 to 14%. That's basically what Alaska has always wanted, and what almost every other pipeline builder essentially demands. But so they'll get 7%, which seems to me like a pretty good rate for us.
No. You're misunderstanding. In the pre-phase where we're determining whether this project's even a go. In that phase,
why would there be a profit? I really understand.
That's crazy. You're right. So why would there be?
There can't be a profit until you get product to market. So there's no profit.
In the pre-phase, in the phase where you're deciding whether this pipeline could go, we guaranteed we'll pay TransCanada back every single penny they sink into it, which is estimated to be about.
Well, are they an agent of the state of Alaska? I mean, is that really what they are? Because we don't really have a pipeline building arm of the state of Alaska, or what? And how would Walker do it different? By the way, I'm interested in your take.
You can go Walker about that. I'm just telling you there are warts in this deal. I mean,
yeah, but Representative Kara, under GIA, which you voted for, which by the way Bill Walker said yesterday during the debate was a good idea. They asked him, "Do you think a GIA was a good policy?" And he said, "Yes."
What?
We gave TransCanada $500 million.
Wait,
to do nothing.
At the time, the price of gas was $11 an MCF, and everybody thought it was a go.
Yeah, but hold a minute. We guaranteed TransCanada $500 million to do nothing, and you voted yes. Now you're complaining about the $300 million. Could it be that it's Parnell's idea?
I'm happy to talk. In retrospect, it didn't work because the price of gas sunk from $11
but
an
no,
MCF
that's
to
not my
$2
point.
an MCF.
That's not my point. You're complaining about $300 million
deal.
now, but yet when it was $500 million, you said yes. So isn't that hypocritical? Isn't that a double standard?
I know you're competing about how much money we can give away. I mean,
but you voted yes on a $500 million giveaway under a GIA.
I'm happy to talk about that, but let's talk about what the current proposal is, which I don't think you understand.
You cannot complain about the current proposal when you voted for a proposal that gave away $200 million more than the current proposal you're complaining about.
First of all, a GIA had a higher return for the state until the price of gas just tanked. And then it became a
GIA had no return for the state. We got no pipeline. We lost $500 million on it, and we lost 7 years on a project.
And actually, Sean Parnell supported that too. The price of gas jumped from $11 an MCF to $2 an MCF. Nobody expected that. But under the current deal, we have guaranteed to take all of TransCanada's risk and just give them profit. It's like giving giving money away to TransCanada during their exploration process.
But you approved the $500 million giveaway. You don't see the hypocrisy in that?
So you just want to defend Parnell on a GIA?
I'm not defending anybody. I'm calling you in your hypocrisy.
It's not hypocrisy. I mean, we'll talk about each on its own merits, but the current one is...
But you can't sit here as a man who voted yes on a policy that gave away $500 million for nothing and come on here and criticize our governor who's going to give away, according to you, $300 million. You can't have it both ways.
The governor supported a GIA. So the governor and everybody, we were all given... Let's leave a GIA to the side, and I'm happy to talk about it. But $300 million.
Well, let's talk about this gas line deal, which you seem to know a little bit more about. I mean, we're on the Tleskera, by the way. Is this more real than other times because Point Thompson? I mean, what's your take on it?
The take on it is it's a negotiations process to see if it gets anywhere. But there are a couple places the state was badly shortchanged. I said it on the House floor. I tried to change these things, and I told the governor when it comes back to us for a vote.
Well, you want his $300 million out. Dan's right. You got caught there. You got $500 million for your deal. You don't want him to have $300 million. Sounds like a talking point to me. What most Alaskans are really interested in here. You don't want to
give TransCanada. If they're really
you didn't want to give TransCanada. Somebody forced you to do it.
Give them their money back if the deal goes down.
You did.
Yeah.
Plus 7%.
You did.
On top of that.
I don't even understand the 7%. If there's no product, there can't be a profit. I truly don't understand.
Here it is. If they pay $300 million in exploring on this project, the project.
Now you're saying it's if. Are you saying that it might be less than $300 million? Could it be $100 million?
They've estimated it at $300 million.
Does it bother you that the Democratic Party has given up in his quest to get the governor's mansion? Do you feel betrayed as a Democrat?
It bothers me that we've taken all of TransCanada's risk, decided to pay for it, and give them 7% on top of that.
I mean, your party literally said, we're not going to even compete. We're going to. Bill Walker's pro-life. He's in on the war on women. How could you just abandon your core fundamental values and beliefs like that just to get a victory?
I don't abandon my beliefs. I say.
Are you going to vote for the Walker ticket?
I say if you can have a bipartisan ticket that actually stands up for Alaska, sure. There are a lot of Republicans I'm voting with for Bill Walker. There's,
Are you going to vote for Bill Walker?
There's Bella Hammond. Yeah, I am. I mean, I think I and a lot of Republicans are going to vote for Bill Walker because people are tired of Sean Cornell. They're tired of him sort of being a walking, talking giveaway to corporate Alaska.
You're going to help cut the budget the next time, like Walker says he wants?
I've already proposed to do that. I think when you have a $2 billion deficit, you don't adopt a $2 billion kindergarten crossing. You wait till you have the money. When you have a $2 billion deficit, you don't spend money on 3 power projects that serve the same exact people and that would each produce enough power for those people. You pick one project. The one project you should make is the best one and make it work well.
You're talking about capital. What if we zero out capital? We're still going to need more money.
We're talking about money. Right now they're spending money on a big gas line, on a small gas line, on the Susitna Dam, and they all serve the same exact people. When money grows on trees, go ahead and do that. But $2 billion for the kindergarten bridge when you don't have it.
Why do you have $2 billion? It was $800 million last I heard.
$800 million is for the first half, and you guys have left out the second half.
No, it wasn't for the first half.
So you're going to cut the budget by not building the bridge.
You don't spend $2 billion on a project you can't afford.
We're not spending $2 billion. That's why families can't afford housing in Alaska. Representative Garrett, we appreciate you calling, but we're out of time. Well, we learned a lot today. One, Representative Garrett is going to lead the way on cutting the budget.
I'm looking forward to that. That is going to be fun.
He's okay with giving TransCanada $500 million, but not $300. $300 million offensive.
$500 million if it doesn't get us a pipeline, and $300 million, and it might actually get us a pipeline.
We'll see you tomorrow, folks.
And $300 million, and it might actually get us a pipeline.
We'll see you tomorrow, folks.